You're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny. Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Resist.
What's up? Good day, grand risings, good afternoon, good evening. Happy
Hello.
Friday. Happy Friday. It's Friday, everybody. Well, it's Friday for me. It's almost Friday for you. It's definitely Friday in Australia. It's Friday. Well, it's late Thursday night, early Friday morning in Canada. And yeah, welcome to everybody that's here. Thank you very much, guys. 16 people already. Oh no, it's dropped down to 12. But
It's okay.
To everybody that's here already, Angel Wings, Cowgirl in Arizona, Awakened Alliance, and Aaron Corbett, and I think that's pretty much. Oh, Sherry's here.
Hey,
FE Nation.
Hey, Sherry.
Slug, and Ooh Nice. Don't recognize those names, but welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. So
Hello.
we've got
Hi,
a fun
Alex.
pack. We've got a fun packed show. We're just waiting for the main guest. Em, how you doing, babe? And Alex, how you doing? Kiwi
And
MacArthur.
An Angel.
Tommy Shirk. Is it Tommy or Tammy? My eyes are bad.
Tammy.
That could be Tammy. It's Tammy Shirk.
I have to. Sorry, it's like weird hours for us. So we're reversed today. So normally I'm the one that's up at the early dawn, and today it's Richie, and yeah, we kind of messed up his sleep schedule, and I'm like a little bit like, my eyes don't want to be open all the way. So hello, I did like decide to go off on a hike, which was kind of stupid, and then eat a big meal, and was like, yeah, let's do a live stream at 11 when I'm normally in bed, so that's super cool.
I'm normally in bed myself as well. Well, actually, no. Normally, I'm sort of getting up around now to take the dogs out. But yeah, I got up at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all
good. It's all good.
I like early mornings. Captain Rankin, how you doing?
I
Good
do.
to see you.
Hi.
So
Thanks for being here, guys.
We are waiting for Burneye.
Yes.
We were planning to go live a little while ago, but Burneye's been
He's
set to change location, so we're just waiting for him to change location. And we thought we'd start anyway and say hi to you guys, and we can if for whatever reason, if Burneye doesn't make it, well, we'll just have to do it ourselves, won't we?
But, well, of course, we're going to have Burneye on again, because as you guys have noticed, he's a regular.
I won't be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning again for Burneye, though. we'll just be saying that.
Well, we'll just have to do the mid-morning time, which doesn't work for everybody else, but it just is what it is, So anyway, do you guys like our title? Does that make you wonder what we have to discuss? What the hell is this? We have a little boots on the ground action, Kevin and I, kind of something I already knew about, but it's like you have new eyes now when you look at things. And this could be a little bit of pareidolia, but I think we have some good information and a bit of evidence to present. So, yeah, so the title, Monoliths and Megaliths. We kind of were talking about how we find those words sort of interesting, the similarity of how they seem to be so close together, but yet their meanings are supposedly so far apart, right?
Except my understanding of them has always been that you're like, whatever they actually mean, I've always thought of megaliths and monoliths are just in the same bracket. It's like monolithic is more natural and megalithic is more manufactured or, created.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're
Be a little more
basically,
complicated than that too, now that we kind of watched that video, right?
yeah, I mean, what's absolutely certain, there's no doubt in my mind, we're dealing with a civilization that had building techniques and not necessarily machinery, but like tools. They had tools that we can only dream of at the moment. They were able to manipulate rock. What Paul Cook's been doing with the making his own geopolymer has shown just how strong. Just mixing it out of simple granite and whatever he used to bind it makes it so unbelievably strong. And that's just him in his back garden. So back then they obviously, and if they were
And how
2
much
foot
evidence?
taller than we all are now as
Yeah.
well, if they would, if they were not just 2 foot taller, if they were 50% larger, all over, every strength, everything was all 50% or 100% bigger, what would we be able to achieve? And what we were looking at today. So where should we start?
Well, it might be better because it's a little of a simpler part of it. But so this kind of started off where we're doing, Kevin and I are on the coast right now of Oregon. And I think some of you...
Just for benefit of anybody that's watching, Kevin hasn't had a stroke. he's sat there concentrating. I think he's probably building the website or he's doing something. But he's concentrating. He's concentrating on something else at the moment. So
most likely messaging somebody, I'm assuming, or others in the chat.
I went monolith, megalith, batholith, because the batholith is like a plume of magma that comes up or something. So
he's always the thing is Kevin's always industriously working away in the background doing something or other. And actually later on, I'd be excited to show everybody the website, how far the website's come already, because he's done a lot of work, a lot of really good work. But so where are we going to start with this?
So I think we'll start with like I was talking about, just that we were at the coast right now.
Here he is. Here he is.
Right.
Look at that.
Look at that timing.
Boom. Oh.
Hello.
There he is.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry,
How
finally
you doing there,
back. That took way longer than expected. Ooh, joined in right at 9:11. 9 minutes, 11 seconds. Yeah, so I'll be back in 5 from my laptop. I just finally got Wi-Fi, so figured I'd let you know that I'm here and still coming.
Thank you.
Cool.
Awesome. We're just getting a little started.
Cool, dude.
See you soon. Okay, so then with that in mind, we'll get kind of started with where we're at. So right now, Kevin and I, like I said, we're in Oregon. Kevin came out here, if you guys don't already know, because we are working on our dream and creating the healing center. And so Kevin's got a ticket to Ecuador, and he came out here so that we could start working on the fundraiser. we've made a lot of progress in the last week, and we have a lot more to do, but super excited. So you'll get to kind of see that, and like the opportunities to help are going to be happening here soon, and we're going to be having options. We're going to make a really nice list of options of things that you guys can help us do, where more or less it's, you know, free help. You know, we're not asking you to take money out of your pockets to help us. So that's exciting. But with that in mind, sorry, I was like pulling this up here. We were just driving around, kind of exploring the area. Our eyes are always peeled on, like, we were like out in the woods today, so we were mushroom hunting today, super fun. And we were, you know, we're always looking to see if we can find anything that has possible reference. And we came about this big rock that I've already known about really well for a long time. It's called Chief Kawanda Rock. And oh, that's not the right one. I gotta stop this. Sorry, 1 second. And Chief Kawanda Rock is considered a cape. It's also considered a monolith. And pulling it up here. And the story behind it is that when people settled here in the late 1800s, they were told by the local tribe that this rock was named after the chief in the 1800s. I've been doing a lot of research because I know I read something more about it, there was more lore, and there's some other interesting stories that are connected with the rocks along the Oregon coastline. Usually there's like a story. It's not just I believe like something happened, and so he was set to be kind of put in stone. So I'm going to show you guys another rock that has the story that's laid out like that. So I couldn't quite find the story on this one, but other than that, the tribe, the Natuska tribe, or Nastuga, they changed the name of it, called this the Chief Kawanda Rock, named after their chief, is what we were told. So I'm curious if y'all can all see that right off the bat. I'm going to zoom in here. One thing is I almost want to make this a little brighter. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
And can you all see the face? So we felt like this kind of resembled, something maybe not quite out of Eastern Island, but similar, right? Like something very, very tribal. And then you can see this is actually supposed to be the ponytail right here. Interestingly, we were looking at Google Earth and can't see the ponytail in Google Earth. Can't really make out the face either. So
So that's the one that when I saw it, when I first saw it, I thought it looks like a sort of King Kong head. But now I can see the face. It's quite a flat face, like a Polynesian.
yes, thank you, Polynesian. That is the word. Like the Mora. Like, is it a little bit more like that, right? And that's
Moai.
that island. Say that again, Kevin. Sorry,
Moai.
Moai. Thank
Moai.
you. Moai. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
I just was looking at that island today. Do you guys know what we're talking about when I'm referencing that? Yeah, let me pull it up. No, this is a little different. This island's further south. Go ahead.
Okay.
I believe.
I wonder if it's pareidolia all the way, and that the myths and legends come based on pareidolia. You know, that the natives saw the same thing, and
that's where it gets complicated, because that's what we keep being told, especially about tribes that existed right in the Middle East. And now we're hearing or connecting that some of these stories could have been references to actual like seismic events and potentially giants. So we do know for sure, right? There's structures that are highly unexplainable. And the one that I always go back to are the H blocks. I won't, ever stop talking about that, because to me, I think there's precision cutting. This is just like so we're going to show this really good example of a monolith that was turned in more or less like they discovered it was definitely a megalith at some point and that it had been altered. So we're going to share this video with you. But that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that I think that there's just too many of these cases. Machu Picchu, where this building and how the quarry was moved from long distances at the time and how we were told it was done, and then the precision cutting that had to happen for it. There's too many questions.
This rock here is just a rock, though, isn't it? Are there any caves? Are there any?
So that's a good point. There's no, there's no, there was there was obviously a tribe, and I was gonna read a little bit of history on that, but there was there's no like petroglyphs that I know of. But again, there was definitely a tribe. There was several different tribes here. There was the Killamuks and the Nestugas.
Were they there? Were they there naturally, or were they there because of displacement?
No, they were there, and then they were displaced once we came in. We pushed them out of that area.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a really interesting story here. It goes, there was a fire that happened, and so this is kind of like explains. I was trying to find this. So legend has it that one of the new immigrants was burning brush from his newly homesteaded land as the fire got out of hand. Let me share this actually, so that in case you guys don't want to hear me read, you want to read it yourselves. Okay, so he was burning brush from his newly homesteaded land as the fire got out of hand. Fanned by an unusually high easterly wind, it raced west into the coast mountain range. It consumed everything in its path, including old growth timber that had stood for hundreds of years. And if you guys don't know this, we have stumps that are like comparable to the redwoods in Oregon, and then there's a lot of large trees here and different types. As the monstrous fire neared the coast, the local Indian population came under siege. It's said that the Nestuga tribe was camping on what is now the Big Nestucca River, near what is now called the Woods, is actually the name. They were forced to paddle their dugouts downstream in a panic, leaving all their possessions behind to find refuge on the sand spit, now called Bob's Rob Park. The fire desecrated the land and the wildlife. For centuries, the Native American Indians had relied on the large herds of elk, deer, and bear for sustenance. After the catastrophe, their main staple became fish from the rivers, as the game in the area was virtually eradicated. By the time the tribes were relocated from their homes to a reservation on the Salmon and Stillets River, the Indians numbered around 200. Around 1876, Chief Nestuga Bill and the last of the small tribe paddled down the Little Nestuga River across the bar into the Pacific Ocean and headed south to their new home.
Desecrated. How does a fire desecrate?
Well,
that was around 1870s. Like, and this is what we talk about with fires and then flooding.
When
and that's
we were out
what's
in the woods
happening
today,
right now.
We saw the stumps of trees. You know, those trees actually look like they'd been burned and not cut. They didn't look cut. They looked burned. Those huge trees.
Yeah.
They were all jagged. They weren't straight.
That's true. And there was evidence of they had been fallen over, and there was other trees growing out of them, and we could tell, you could see.
But like, what you know where we were looking yesterday, where we were looking around Oregon, we were looking at the I can't remember what it's called, but they look like stumps. They look like tree stumps. Giant tree stumps. Like they look like they could be. You know, those the rock that we were looking at, those circular it's like embossed
Fort Rock
table maces. look
Let me
like
show everybody what we're talking about
Kev,
here.
can you get some? Can you pop some earphones in with your microphone's really muffled?
Your
It
earphones
sounds
are
like it sounds like you've got your hand over it or something. It's really muffled. Or maybe if it's an external mic, plug it in again or something.
okay. Let me show you. So this is like just to give you perspective of where we are. So this is something called Fort Rock that's what Richie's talking about. But just to give you perspective, like this is in the middle of the high desert. So this is the mountain range right here that most people are familiar with. All the big mountains, and then the valley and the coast, obviously. So this is where it turns into like high desert. And when you zoom in, there's some interesting structures around here already. Like
So like those two circular.
bulge. This is a bulge of the crate in the that's what we're told.
In the middle there's a small circle and a bigger circle. In the
Right
that's
here.
there. Yeah, those two, because they're raised, aren't they? And I was just thinking that
No, these are
it's
sunken. These are sunken in.
they're sunken in, right?
Mm-hmm. And then this is what's interesting is that what we know now is that this is like a bulge in the crate. That's what I was trying to say. But then this is like where here's Fort Rock. So check this out. So they're going to tell us this is all volcanic activity, right? Like this is all like developed because magma, liquid hot magma, rose up from the ground and form these anomalies, right? And these different, you can see like this is actually quite large. It's hard to tell from here. But it's, it's quite high. And what we're told is the Native Americans use this as a fort and a stronghold, especially in battle.
There's no, just zoom in a bit on that, because mind you, that's Google Maps, that's not Google Earth.
Oh yeah, sorry. My computer's slow. Do you want to look at? Well, I can send you because my computer, unfortunately, I don't have a good connection, and so it's not loading. Like I can do Google Earth, but it wasn't loading.
All right, I got it. What's that fort called?
Fort Rock. And then you can get in on it. And I mean, I think it's good for us to mention too, which I'm going to share. Let me just show it really quick. That in reference to the rock that I did show you, there is another face rock off the coast of Oregon. And then a little bit of evidence that there's also rocks that have similar shape to the one I showed you. So this one doesn't fit in that category, but this one for sure. This one is called Face Rock, and it's named after a chief, a Native American chief's daughter. And there's like a lore behind this, and then there's like a dog that's howling. So, this is a reference. And then this is another type of rock. So this one to me looks a lot like the first rock I showed you guys. But this is called Haystack Rock, and the other reason this rock is so famous is this was in the Goonies, if y'all remember. Okay. Go ahead and show us Fort Rock on Google Earth. Look for some star forts around there. Not right, because it's called a fort. I'm adding it in, Richie. Oh, you got it. Oh, look at just so you'll know, Bernie's having computer issues, so hopefully he will be on soon. Excited to share this with him.
So what I was going to say is that there doesn't appear to be any real footprint of, like the star forts. There's no star fort footprint here.
Yeah. Scroll out. Though we did, didn't we? We already looked at this area pretty well. It's just that I find it still interesting. It's it's not discernible on exactly what's going on.
That looks to me from here, that looks to me like petrified wood.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Where is this at?
This is Oregon. This is Fort Rock, Oregon. So Oregon craters.
And those holes we were looking at, one of them was literally called a hole in the ground, and then there's
How
this
far across is that? Can you measure it?
Yeah, I think you can in Google Earth, right?
What's that?
Can you measure that? It's pretty far. It's probably
from where to where? Measure
the length.
Trunk in the tree, or the whatever that anomaly.
The longest part of it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
So from the furthest edge.
Yeah.
Nearly a kilometer. Not quite.
Wow, okay.
But still, nearly a kilometer across.
Mm-hmm.
And from the...
Yeah, and you can see the other side of it way over there. Like from the other way is about the same width.
Yeah, it's like... What's that? Oh.
It's interesting that they put all those other round fields there.
Do you know what else is interesting?
That looks like one too.
I mean, look, it's like perfect squares. Well, rectangles. Rectangles and squares. Rectangles and squares. All these squares here. Obviously,
the farming.
It's all mapped out, ready. How, like, what I was saying yesterday about where they're at, and they're right out in the desert or in the middle of the salt flats or whatever. When you look on Google Earth, there's this perfect grid patterns that seem to be, pathways that seem to have been there for who knows how long. That's the thing. How long have they been there? How long have those pathways been there? How long? Because how long would it take to walk a pathway through all this? One that's big enough to be picked up on Google Earth satellite.
Pull out. Doesn't that look like a triangle right there? Like, even though it looks like it was like logged, but it almost does look like a long triangle.
Here.
Yeah. Right where you're, to the right.
I mean, that's a distinct line down here.
Oh, I see that line, but that's not what I was talking about. Up on the right hand side, it's like it looks like it was logged, so it looks like it's like a lighter coloring than the rest, but it almost makes a very long triangle if you follow it all the way up and then all the way down, and it's like, do you see what I'm talking about? Like stop right. Oh, look at it. It goes all the way. Stop right there. I don't think you can see what I'm saying, maybe, but pull out just a little bit. This is reminding me of like what Dutch just found. It's like a big.
There's the fracking over
It's
there.
like
You can
right now
see.
it's more in the middle. Oh, is that freaking? Is that
Here.
fracking?
Yeah, up on the right now. Go down. Zoom in.
Really?
Yeah, see those lines with the little dots?
Yeah. That's like what Dutch
Oh,
always
yeah.
found.
You'll be able to see it. Zoom in. Deeper.
Oh,
Yeah.
you gotta go. You gotta see the. Look for the pads. Bernie!
Oh my god, I'm finally here. I made it.
Oh, Burneye.
Sorry about that. Bert and Ernie have
Cool.
been here the whole time, but
Yeah.
Bernie takes an extra hour or half hour. Made everybody wait a couple hours. Sorry about that. My dad
okay.
is sick with COVID. He just tested positive a few days ago, so it's complicated my situation for filming and being in studio and whatnot. So I ran in quick to hook up Bert and Ernie and see my dad briefly for a minute while actually wearing a mask. I actually wore the mask for a couple of minutes there, and now I'm back at Amber's, and here we are.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Likewise.
A little bit of
How are you
chaos.
yourselves doing tonight?
Pretty
Good.
good. Pretty good. Considering my doggo, I can't complain. And now we're looking at, we kind of sidelined into looking up, it looks like fracking spots randomly in Oregon that I didn't know were here.
That definitely looks like oil wells.
Yeah.
We found
And
some
though when you
delicious
zoomed in, I
mushrooms
couldn't really
today.
see. Can you zoom in again? Because I couldn't really see.
Yeah, it wasn't really rendering though.
Oh.
And also, if it's fracking, right, that they're only active for a short period of time, I think, before they have to move the rig on or the pump on or whatever.
Interesting. So maybe these are all just decommissioned and actually pretty old.
Could be.
Quite possible.
So, just to kind of recap with you, Bernie, since you're coming in. So, couple of the things that we were showing was that there's some rocks off of the coast of Oregon that actually have stories behind them with the Native Americans, and they have distinct face shapes. And actually, one of them's called Face Rock. So I'll show you that here in a minute. But there's some other interesting formations that I have taken note of in Oregon as well that, notable either as if they were like previous vegetation, giant vegetation, like giant trees or something like that, potentially. And there's a lot of Native American influence in this area because this is high desert. And so there's a lot of like petroglyphs as well. So you can see like how like vast it is, and then like these formations that have popped up, So
yeah,
this is called Fort Rock. Are you in the? I think are you in the middle of it or in the edge of it?
This is down from Fort Rock, and
Okay, I thought I could see it in the distance.
Yeah, you can see it in the distance. I think.
It's interesting. What you're saying though, like just in the middle of nowhere sort of thing, these random formations.
Well, here's the other interesting thing too with Oregon is that there is actually uranium. It's kind of not well known that they are mining that, and then that's in the middle of nowhere. And interestingly, of course, like right next to a Mason cave with like a stadium set up in the in the cave.
What is it?
Not like a stadium. That's a little over the top, but like a little stage.
It looks like
here we are.
Stadium from above the layout.
Yeah. Well, I think it looks like a hollowed out tree stump.
That could too, yeah.
Yeah, kind of pull it out after you do that to the top too, so you can see it from the top, because I feel like that definitely.
Oh, look at that sort of rock formation, hey?
I mean, that looks
Yeah.
like brick. That looks like brick up there. A bit of brickwork, sort of. It's not.
Maybe this sort of does remind us of actually when Kevin and I the other day were looking and we saw these, like, they almost look like they could have been basalt columns, but then we looked at them further and we felt like maybe they were actually palm trees, petrified palm trees, because of the lines in them. So
They had,
yeah,
like,
if you pull it, doesn't that look like a big tree stump?
Yeah.
Or half
Looks even more like a tree stump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I see what you're saying, big time. Like the bark peeling up there and stuff. That's
Yeah.
weird on this other side.
The one
Or
thing is like,
perhaps,
Or
sorry,
a
go ahead.
or perhaps a fungus, like a giant fungus. You know,
Yeah.
like a
Oh, yeah.
What's that one that grows on the? It's like a big plate that grows on the side, on the base of trees.
What the heck are
What's
they
it called?
Is that the one we picked up today? Was that Rishi? We got another. Where is that? Let me go find that. I'll show you guys the mushroom. We went mushroom picking today. 1 second.
I've got it right here.
Oh, there you go.
Look on the TV. It's on the camera.
So Esra and
Yeah.
Kevin, do you guys
This is
are
the
you
diamond
living together
polypore.
now? Roommates? In the same house?
Yeah. This
Or
is a
in the same-
dire polypore.
There
It's
we are.
actually
That's
three.
cool.
It's
That's-
three
that
mushrooms. that
definitely
fuse
has
together as they grew.
a real resemblance to what we're looking at in the ground there.
It
Yeah.
it does, doesn't it? I think it's that sort of thing, and I think also like it's I don't know. It just seems easier to me. It seems like it would be easier for fungus to turn into stone than, you know, to be mineralized and turn into stone than it would for wood.
And fungus grows out of the ground too, I guess, but I don't know if I've actually ever seen anything petrified fungus before.
Well,
They
the only
have
reason
found them.
the only reason I say that is because if you look at what Kevin was just showing, sorry, Kev, you're still on blast. If you look at what Kevin was just showing, the texture of it and everything, it almost looks like stone already.
Yeah.
The bottom of it, I don't think you can see it, but the bottom is like
It's got moss on
Fun.
it. The bottom's got
Do you
moss
see that
and
green?
lichen.
But
Yeah.
it's like
no, it's not
iridescent.
lichen. This is all just the same mushroom, just discolored a little bit. But
Oh.
this is one that's used for dye. We can dye fabric with this.
They got some chicken in the woods, cowgirl.
We ate it.
yeah,
We ate it
awesome.
with our. So
Oh,
Kevin
so
made us
delicious.
burgers and he fried them up and then put them on top of the burgers with cheese. Oh my! We had like avocado. Like, oh,
Yeah, they're
drool.
pretty good.
It was really good.
With avocado as well. Nice.
Yeah. The
And-
chicken of the woods was just like perfect though. It wasn't very old, so it was like
it was
delicious.
perfect. It was, oh my god, it was melting in your mouth. It was amazing. I highly recommend you all go mushroom hunting if you can. So
Hey, Red Eye.
I need
Big
to
up,
do
Red Eye.
that
How you
again.
doing, mate?
you probably can find a lot of good stuff right now to Burneye in Canada, you know, before the
British
snow comes.
Columbia a little bit more so on the coast
Yeah.
and mountains. In Alberta, it's pretty dry here and cooling off pretty quick as well.
Gotcha.
We had a
Gotcha.
couple of frosts here.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the coast right now, so that's why it's like this is one of the
it's
best
almost
places to try to find.
rainforest there, or it is kind of rainforest there, because
It is. Yeah. We're not like the Ho, you know, like the Ho National Rainforest is on the Olympic National or on the Olympic Peninsula, and that's like more like British Columbia rainforest. But we have we have like some little tucked in areas, and we actually have areas where we still have huge trees. It's like there's this, it's really hard to get to, but there's this place called the Valley of the Giants, and it's like you take these amazing back roads, you know, and they just go. Oh, it's just ridiculously gorgeous. We actually went down a forest road today to go mushroom hunting. And it's just like, yeah, you got it's so beautiful. You get glimpses of the ocean while you're out there, and then you're like within all these birch trees, and then mixed in with all these really mossy trees and big ferns everywhere because everything's so lush. And
I love that.
It's just
you
beautiful.
Giant yellow slugs down there, the banana slugs and stuff.
Yep.
That's so neat.
It's beautiful for sure. So, you guys mind if I just show Burneye really quick the rocks?
Yeah.
So let me pull up the one that was kind of the star of the reason. So this rock is very close to where we are right now. This is called so the story behind this one is that it's called I'm gonna stop it. It's called this is actually called Cape Kawanda, but this rock is called Chief Kawanda Rock, and it is actually a national preserve for wildlife now because there's like birds that are endangered seabirds, and they nest and stuff on there, so it's like sacred area. But if you as we've already established, as some of you are tuning in now, you can clearly see the face on it. And so but the story is that people, the Eastern settlers came in around the late 1800s, like 1876. And they were told that this rock was named after a chief from the early 1800s. Now, I believe I've read, and I could not find it. I tried really hard to find it, but I believe I've read a little like lore on what the Native Americans actually said about this rock. And I'm going to show you a little story about another rock that's on the coast that has a Native American story behind it, and also has a face on it, and is called Face Rock. So I think this is pretty, though, like we talked about, this looks a lot like kind of like Eastern Island, but also what's the one where they have the hats? They have like the bigger hats on it. That's not Eastern Island, right? There's like Island. Is that the same as you were saying, the Maori?
There are some on Easter Island with the hats, the Moai, but
is that what it is? Okay, and I'm just
Hawaii as well, or New Zealand that has that. But
I just want to point out as well, I don't think it's any, it's not just a funny, happy coincidence that the Moai sounds a bit like Maori, because I think they proved the genetic line goes that way. There's that woman, isn't there? There's a Maori woman that she was saying for a long time that's where her family had come from, and they were saying no, rubbish, and then they did DNA and they proved that she was right. The story that she was telling was true, and the Maori weren't from New Zealand.
So like their oral history incorporates like the lost lands of Lemuria, and that they knew that they
were Moo and all of that.
Moo. That's amazing.
Do you think that's why? Do you think that's why Indians made cows sacred? Because they got confused. Because not confused. It's because all the cows used to constantly, calling out to moo, moo, and the Indians were like, "Oh, this is wonderful. How do they know about moo?"
That's where all cows are from. They're from the lost continent.
But then leave it to the Swedish to turn it into like gorgeous singing and like have you heard that, where they call their cows and it's like these gorgeous songs that they'll sing out? If you haven't, you need to listen to it.
Is that yodeling?
It's beyond yodeling. It's like, it sounds like you're in Narnia all of a sudden.
I'll tell you what, yodeling's mental.
Okay, I'll look that up. I'll look that up really quick. But in the meantime, we will look at this rock. But you have to hear it.
See, this is where I see the face. It's this one that I see the face in much better. And it's flipped. It's actually the other side, isn't it? It looks like the other side. Because
I'm looking up, and then I also see one on the exact opposite side staring out, kind of, at the bottom. Like the nose.
Oh
and
yeah,
eyebrow
kind
and
of
stuff.
like a weird face, sort of like it's yelling
Yeah.
or something, maybe.
But I definitely now see the other
Oh.
the bigger face looking up on the.
And it's
Yeah,
it's a woman, and here's the interesting thing is like there's this whole lore about how she had a basket of kittens and her dog, and they all ended up dying and turning to stone. And so here, look at this. This woman took a video
Wow.
There,
of
you
it,
can
so
see it.
you can get it, you can really see it now. Watch, and so these are the kittens out there. Supposedly, a basket full of kittens, and some evil spirit in the water called Setka or something. And then her dog is right there howling. Is like this is all part of the story, and that when her dad came and he was the chief of the, I believe it's the Siskayu tribe, he like was in so much grief that they all turned to stone. And now the legend is that she will come back at the time when the ocean shows bioluminescence, and you can go to a part of the Oregon coast where you can see bioluminescence at a certain time of the year.
That's so cool.
Bioluminescence is insane. Those pools where when you step into it, or when you step on it, it's like it is Avatar. It's
Right?
exactly what happens in Avatar. When they run their hands through the water and it activates all the bioluminescent, whatever it is, plant life or whatever it is in there.
Plankton.
It's plankton. Yeah, it's insane, man. It's so.
Are there pictures of the faces from above at all, and any close-up of the kid?
It'd be interesting to get some drone footage, wouldn't it? Of like
there's
right
not a
above it.
lot actually, because you're not allowed to fly around these areas because they're considered.
Of course they do that. They
They're
only care about
considered
wildlife.
You might
the
fly
whole,
into one
you
of the.
guys, the whole coast, and these are not the only rocks. There are a ton of huge rocks right off the coast. You don't see this at all on the eastern coast. I mean, I am more unfamiliar with it, but please show me where you see huge rocks like this. And they say this is wild. And okay, also Washington has similarities with this too, but I just have always said that I get this itching feeling because we know there's a star fort. Where do we know there's a star fort, Burneye? In Oregon, remember? Well, right, but like the only place they actually know where there's a star fort on the West Coast. They haven't even technically found it here, but I do think there's something to this right here. But I'm going to show you Dutch Sense find. I don't know if you've seen his find yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but
I'll
we're
show
in
you.
the works of doing an episode together.
You talked to him?
Yeah, I got his email, and he's saving to do the Starfort big reveal with myself and Paul Cook coming up soon. So that should be epic.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Dutch Sense is like my doorway to YouTube. I've been listening for years.
He was one of the first.
And as soon as you guys said that, I immediately sent you guys. I sent messages. I was like, "Did you hear? He called out Paul Cook and Martin and." Yeah, anyway, it's been cool to see him develop. But okay, so the one star fort we know that's here is in off the coast, right here in the mouth of Columbia.
Right
mm-hmm.
Like that.
Look at this. Look at this.
Right? It goes all
that,
the way up. Like
that to me, that looks like mud flood.
New construction or.
Oh no! This is World War II. This is World War II star fort, right? That's what they're telling us in a story. Here's the interesting.
Sorry, go ahead. Though. Like that looks like massive artificial coastline.
So they dredged the crap out of it. They dredged the crap out of it. And this is actually like the longest bridge west of the Mississippi that was built after what was it? Excuse me. Yeah, it's still considered the longest bridge. I don't know, but they've dredged this like crazy to allow commercial shipping to come through. So this is also where Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark, man.
This is where Lewis and Clark ended.
Ding 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 ding.
This is where their journey supposedly ended. And Burneye, here's the star fort evidence. If you scroll in, it's like it's obvious as day. So you get a battery here. Look at the shape.
Oh yeah.
Right now, wait. You go across the river. There's a lighthouse over here, and there's another battery. I think I'm off. It's like right in here.
No,
Battery Murphy.
Huh.
So, and then remember that Star Fort website I sent you? There is,
Yeah, I still
this
need to check that out. I forgot about that.
right this is how I confirmed it, that what I saw, he had marked this as a Star Fort as well. So, okay, so you'll probably get to go over it with Dutch, but I really want to show you because it's quite evident and obvious, but here it is. Like, plain as
Yeah,
day.
we were looking at that yesterday, weren't we? That's
Boom.
Oh, where?
it's just it's that sort of point, and and it's called that area. There's an area there called 5 Points.
Oh yeah, we found it right up in the mountains while we were looking around. There's Twin Oaks. It's like, yeah, 5 points right here, right on the edge of this.
Right on the edge of the point.
Dutch measured it, and I believe he said it was 300 miles on each side, like this.
Wow.
And then there's next to Victorville, to the left of Victorville, there's that sort of slightly grey.
Oh yeah, look at
that?
this. It's like,
what is all of this?
I used to live right up there, right by Victorville, Adelanto. Well, I stayed in Victorville for a long time.
El Mirage. Why would that be called El Mirage?
Because the land
and Lake Los Angeles. Well, because obviously there's a mirage. There's reflection.
Hey, and this is right where you can see where the ocean used to be. Right here, like there's rocks that you can see were definitely worn down by water.
Yeah, probably would have been what drained out from the difference of the flood and after, when California was the island and then no longer. Like, look at that, Shannon's.
Right.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well. This is up at the top.
Right
this is up at the
top.
top.
It used to be the ocean.
Crazy. That is some strange features.
Look above
and the
it,
coastlines are real interesting. Like,
yeah, the coastlines look completely artificial. Like, are they claiming that's natural, or like are they claiming that's man-made and recent?
Okay, so here's another interesting story. So do you know who?
Can we zoom in on that area a little bit?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You want me to go back to where we were?
No, just on the coastlines there, where we just.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this was. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not. I need to double check, but I think this is the area. So, do you know who Alpha Vedic is, Bernie? Mike Winter and Dr. Berlando. You should look them up. They're amazing. They probably need to do shows with you too. So they make their own like monoatomic gold. They're very like awake in that sense. They've done interviews.
Dr. Berlando is all about. He understands agriculture and the natural science behind agriculture and how to, grow certain things near other things. How things.
He's an MD that more or less than just said F this system, because he was working in a hospital system, just watching very barbaric type, things happen. And he's now doing every kind of alternative healing you can think of. They're doing the PMA, they're doing the land trust stuff. And that's where I've gotten a lot of that info from.
So he's doing it on sovereign land. So he doesn't, he's let all his licenses drop.
That's amazing.
So he's not restricted.
I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yeah, I'll send you their info. So that's okay. So the story about what I'm showing you right here, like, look at this point, guys. This is right. So this area, Dr. Berlando's family, his wife's family, was kicked out. I believe it was this area was kicked out of this land for intimate domain, and it was all turned into like a national, wildlife refuge type setup, or maybe it's not a refuge, but it's like a park.
And for anyone listening, it's and I'm sure it's most people, well, most of us, we all agree that anywhere that they turn into a national reserve or wildlife park or, state preserved, protected land, it's always because there's something there that they don't want us to find. They don't want they don't want people to explore there. They make it illegal to dig there.
On the other side of that bluff there. Yeah, right there on the point. Like
I've actually been right out there on that point. I just had to look it up. I've been to Point Reyes before.
Yeah, I've wanted to go here.
Is it a massive cliff?
Oh, guys, look at that. There's a lighthouse.
Huh.
See, and there's like a lighthouse I'm going to show you off the coast of Oregon too. That's like it has an interesting story behind it too.
This is the furthest point west on the coast.
What's interesting is you watch how quickly they'll come and shut it down and you'll get arrested and carted off if you do a little dig there. And you know, like, put it on YouTube. Yeah, we're doing a little archaeological dig here down at Point Reyes, and like 2 hours later they'll flood down and cart you off. You watch how quickly, man. They like it's you could go out into the Mojave Desert and start digging, and they'll come and find you and stop you. It's just I think it's just hilarious how terrified they are of anybody digging up and finding what's going on, finding all the contradictions to their narratives.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
It's literally everywhere.
Francis Drake.
This is interesting. It has a connection to Queen Elizabeth.
1579, June 17th, 1579. Captain Francis Drake sailed his ship. Golden Hinder.
Is that the right
into the
date?
Into the Gulf of the Barrelongs, and the bay that now bears his name. He sighted
these white cliffs.
These white cliffs and named the land Nova Albion. Albion is Scotland.
You know, hold on. What's the date? Is you sure that is Queen? What was the queen? Who's the queen that just passed away? What number was she?
Elizabeth II.
So that's not 1579. What is that? 17? No, how old? That doesn't make sense. That's not 1979.
No, that is a. I'm pretty certain that's a 15. It might be a. No, it's a 5.
So think about that though. And then he spent 36 days in encampment and claimed the region for Queen Elizabeth I. The dates were way off.
When was Elizabeth?
No, that's the 15. First. Yeah, she was. I think that was
15. Around. Wasn't that Tudors? No, Tudors was 13, wasn't it? Right.
It's okay. It's probably that it's like she's Queen Elizabeth III or something stupid like that. The Pirates Queen is what Brian Evans called. Hey guys, thank you for being here. We're about an hour in. Woo! How you doing, Bernie?
Doing good.
Okay, so she was born on the 7th of September of 1533. So 1579. She was alive 1558 to 1603. Yeah, that's Elizabeth I.
So the one that just passed away is the 4th.
No, she's the second.
No, Robin Bird.
Second, Queen
Elizabeth. She's Queen Elizabeth II who's just passed away.
Okay, so there's just a gap. There's just no Queen Elizabeth.
There is no Queen Elizabeth IV.
Victoria in between, I think it was Queen Victoria in between.
Okay.
Queen Victoria was in the 1800s. Queen Victoria came after King. So
I can't keep it straight.
But listen. So there's a link. There's a link to Queen Elizabeth I, and there's also a link from 1666 when the Cestui Que Vie was signed by Charles II, and now we've got Charles III coming in.
Right? They always mess around with those names. Sorry, guys, and lovely lady and ladies in the chat, viewers. I have to pick up Amber quickly from the train station, so I'll be back in 15-20 minutes tops.
All right. No worries.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bernie.
But I've got lots to discuss when I get back.
All right.
Cool.
So what I was just going to say, though, it's kind of interesting that, if that is 1579 and then he was here, I don't really remember them telling us that we hit this area with a ship previous to Christopher Columbus and Lewis and Clark, who didn't make it over here until
the Chinese were over there though a lot. Stuff, I think.
Yeah, well, but the Chinese technically didn't come over till the 1800s when they were when they were like slave labored over
for the gold rush
to build it. Yeah, for the gold rush.
I see what you're saying. They claimed that was claimed for the Queen in the 1500s. Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Or 1616, I think, is the date they officially said. Right here, like this little, like he crashed here. What the? There you go, folks. There you go. Just weird shit every day.
It's a marine reserve as well.
Yep.
So they're protecting the whole lot. They want the whole lot. Don't go near. Don't come anywhere fucking near this. This is all protected.
And so what are they hiding in here? Because with the eminent domain thing, again, the fact that they took this.
The curvature doesn't seem natural.
Point resistance.
Point resistance special closure.
Yeah.
What?
It's like a star for it.
I can't click in on that. It could be. I do remember there was some part of the highway that got, I think, potentially landslided. So maybe that's what that's actually in reference to. I don't know, but so. Interesting. Look at those points, you guys. Look at that. Point. Everybody's like, yeah, that's natural. I get it. I didn't get to... Okay, so the other interesting... So let's talk about real quick the thing the deal with the Portland tunnels, and I can look up some other information, but you guys know the Portland tunnels are connected to the Chinese. That's like the first, discussion of human trafficking. And that's connected to Seattle as well.
Sorry, I'm just getting up Drake's head on Google Maps. Oh, not Google Earth, sorry.
Oh, Drake, what's Drake's head?
Where you were just looking, but it was on Google Maps, so I just wanted to see if
Port Reyes.
Port Reyes, yeah.
Yeah, and where is the Fallon Islands lighthouse? Look, there's a lighthouse out here, guys. Oh, interesting. Look at that formation. Where's the lighthouse? Oh, Richie.
Yeah.
You weren't up. There you go.
I think this is weird.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Now scroll in a little bit right there, right next to it. There's like a part, it looks like a triangle point next to that. Keep going in a little bit more. I think you can see it better. Maybe it's not quite as... See it almost, you can see a line there, and then it looks like the line used to continue into the other way, and then it looks all pocketed, like it was damaged.
Oh yeah, that used to be a point. Just imagine the sea level down about 80 feet, 90 feet. Because they find all those, under 90 feet of water, they find a lot of buildings.
Chimney Rock. Takes so bloody long. Come on.
Right.
But the thing is, I've got fiber optic internet, so super fast, 100 megabytes a second internet. And this is an iMac, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And so I wanted you to do it, and I can imagine how slow it would be on mine. Old World, Michigan. We have actually, Richie and I have actually done that with Google Maps, pulled out, and so you could see all the lines in the ocean and the direct line between the Western U.S. and to Hawaii to Russia and like all over. It looks like little like broken up in places, but I think it's definitely something to note. Thank you guys for being here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's definitely because this is all mapped onto a 3-dimensional fucking billiard ball. If we try and picture it in your mind as being a flat plane, but still having all these gullies, and it's the water, they can obviously move the water around. I think, when they have these floodings and stuff, I don't think it's accidental. I don't think it's anything to do with the weather. I think they open up the sluice gate somewhere and say, where are we going to flood today? What cities are we going to flood today? And they open the sluice gate and flood them. And is it Mother Shipton? Her prophecies, which have all come true so far, she says that there's going to be new land where, that was at the bottom of an ocean will be new land. Other areas are going to be completely buried. They're just going to move. The water's going to move around.
And that's what's interesting about the two things, that the U.S. Navy has like a future U.S. map based on prophecies. I don't think it was Mother Shipton, and then also the declassified story that they have that kind of backs this all up, right?
Guadalupe. What's the bet? And there's going to be a fort on here.
Find me that fort.
It just occurred to me, this show is not anything to do with Star Forts, really. What we were talking about is Monoliths and Megaliths.
Let's go back. You know what we haven't shown yet is let's show the thing on the lion.
Oh, the lion. Yeah. Well, I thought maybe we could wait till I think that Burneye is really going to appreciate that. So maybe we can wait. We'll wait till Burneye gets back.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what we can look at.
And I need to go help my doggy really quick, so I'll be right back. But I'm listening. And I'm observing, and I saw a silly comment that I wanted to put up there. That's funny. I'm not going to pee for you, man. I already pee too much.
So I just put in Monoliths and Megaliths into DuckDuckGo. Because I was saying, what's the difference between a monolith and a megalith? Because really, monolith, monument, it could still, the mono part of it, a monument is something that's been constructed. So that's why I always thought monoliths could have been, were maybe constructed as well. They're just so much.
Well, I think once there's definite evidence of that it's been carved, then they say megalith. But if it's just, it could be a singular stone, that's just massive, like Ayers Rock.
Yeah, Ayers Rock or Table Mountain.
Right. So I think that's a distinction, although I think it's a gray, there's a gray line. Because you would think if there was a stone that was that massive, people would it would still end up being part of a ritual, So they may paint on it or just gather around it. And now it constitutes as being it's like a memorial at that point. That's what constitutes a megalith, is that it was memorialized and possibly altered.
That definitely looks like a tree stump.
Yeah, I was in Golden, Colorado, and there's like these table maces there, and those things look weird when you get up to the base of them. Like it could be massive wood.
Right, look at that. That looks like it's been restored. Right, we're just waiting for Sarah to get back and for Burneye to get back with Amber.
If you can hear me, I'm giving Jitterbug a massage.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Jitterbug is Sarah's gorgeous dog who's getting into the sunset of her life.
She's an elder.
She is an elder.
She's an 18-year-old retired sled dog. It's amazing.
It's amazing that she's walking. Albeit a bit labored, but I mean, that's if she was a sled dog.
Yeah.
They worked extremely hard, man.
Yeah.
Ancient monolith has been discovered where? Oh, in the Mediterranean Sea.
See, like in that movie, in the Space Odyssey, that thing was called a monolith. And that was like something that came from space in that story. But they called it a monolith.
But it was an obelisk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's basically one of these. Do you think that's where we got his inspiration from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably. It was kind of like taking it and making it backwards, because modern man looks back at ancient man's megaliths and is mystified by them. So what Kubrick did was he went back to ancient man and brought like some kind of technology back there. So it was like a reverse role. You know what I'm saying? They were mystified by something from the future, and they couldn't tell what it was. Just like people from these future times think about the past, and they're like, touch it, rub it, measure it, beat on it, argue about it, you know, and it stands the test of time while they try to figure it out.
So I'm watching. I've been binge watching Lost again, and I'm onto season 6. Season 7, the last season, can't find it anywhere. Not anywhere. It's like it's been removed from all history. But it's it's I know they build the island and everything, and the caves and all of that is all movie set. They didn't use anything natural there at all. It was all movie set. There weren't any true original sites or symbols or anything that were in it. But this idea that even there, the others, there's no story of the others building what they're using. There obviously when the Dharma Initiative turn up, they build all those houses and stuff, but buried into the island, there's a network of tunnels underneath the island, and it's all megalithic stonework and whatever. They don't talk about who built that then, and it's like there's definitely this entire narrative that maybe everything was wiped out for a couple of 1,000 years before it ever came back again. You know, maybe the destruction was so great, everything was buried, and it was 1,000 years or something before, and maybe the Earth was a completely different shape. Like, just reverse it. Everything that's above the ocean now was below it that back then, and you know, it's all flipped. When you look at all the sites that are under the ocean around Japan, and I'm sure on the West Coast, we can't see it on Google Maps, but I'm sure on along that West Coast, if you go diving up there, there's got to be.
I'm gonna find it. We're gonna show it. The hardest thing is that it's hard to determine what was done here. You know, like how much damage, and the other confusing part that I always talk about is like, if there was such a catastrophe, why was the redwood spared? Especially if these cycles are every like 130 some years or whatever. Because I mean, the only other thing I've said is that unless like the redwood shot up in 5 years like that because of the way the Earth was, that's, you know. But I'm just trying to figure out what happened on the West Coast. There's more to the story.
I think there was, because there is a story, isn't there, of some sort of massive event that wiped out the West Coast. Yeah, I think there was something there before.
Even in the like, there's recorded history of when the missionaries were in California, there was a massive earthquake that was so intense that volcanoes were going off. And they talk about in Santa Barbara how at that time there was a piece of the coast that actually cracked off and flipped. So they say like the earth there is upside
like a
down.
boat, like
Yeah,
went out and
yeah,
capsized.
like it tumbled over and then fell. So you've got these rocks are all out of place there geologically. That's what I heard when I was there, and it was real strange. Like the rocks that you found, there was petroglyphs and everything out there.
Yeah, and the petroglyphs here in the Central Oregon, I think, it just with the cave system. The other thing is, I would like to do a little more research, and I'm going to on the lore, and on the traditions of the Native Americans out here, because there's so many different types of tribes and the connections to California. And so that'd be worth at some point. I do have to focus on. I want to start, as I've talked about, some healing type stuff. So I'm going to focus on that. But once we get to there, we got a lot of exploring to do. So when I talk about making that happen in Oregon, that might have to be put on hold because there's some way cooler ruins where we're going.
You guys, you were saying though, you're definitely going to try and make it up to that Starfall, aren't you? That'd be awesome. See some boots on the ground.
Yeah, I think while we're here.
Because there's not it's not really that many boots on the ground videos. People, obviously Paul Cook in Malta. Malta's just one giant fucking star fort. I haven't seen that many other boots on the ground. Borda there, Brian. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Steerich. It's lost Richie. What's lost me? If I'm looking lost, Ross, it's because I've been up since 5 o'clock. I'm still a bit dazed and confused. Right, I'll tell you what. While there's nothing much happening right now, and we're waiting for Burneye to get back before we take a look at the Lion Rock. It'd be interesting to see how many people have heard about it before. If anybody knows about Lion Rock, should put something in the comments.
Anybody watches Jared Boosters? He covers some cool stuff.
But in the meantime, we're going for an hour and 23 minutes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, there it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that you're getting up there? You're on mute, I think, Sarah, if you're talking to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do. You guys remember dial-up? You remember
this
those
is
days?
very much. That's right. Like 15 minutes waiting for a nipple.
It would come down all blurry.
You're 15. Mom and Dad just left to go to the restaurant. You're like, God damn it! Come on! I only got. They're gonna be back any minute.
They'd draw a whole picture of the whole woman, but it'd be so blurry you couldn't really tell if it was a man or a woman.
These are some Oregon petroglyphs specifically. I thought this was really interesting with the crown. going on there? Are they holding a child? Interesting.
It's like are they? Is it crowns? Are they crowns or is it light?
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
light beings?
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Somebody was, mentioned they wanted to see, so I thought, hey, I'd throw some, what some of the Oregon ones look like. Ooh, look at this one. Yeah, the gorge ones are really interesting.
That's a
For
bird,
crow, right? Yeah. Fish.
and it's got a curly beak and
No,
Yeah.
it's
like
Lion Rock in Sri Lanka.
What?
Somebody
This is-
asked if Lion Rock was in Hong Kong. It's in Sri Lanka.
Oh. The Lion's
And-
Rock you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
and that looked like a it's flamingos that have got a sort of a curly beak in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, these might be like funeral, like gravestones. I was thinking that one looked like with the man and the woman and the kid, it looked like a skull altogether. So I was
Yeah,
like,
kind of.
maybe
I mean,
they all
you know,
passed together. So
one thing that always occurs to me when we're looking at these things is what can you always guarantee a child to do?
Draw. Doodle.
Draw on walls, doodle, draw on walls and whatever. And I just wonder if a lot of these are like we are actually looking at the doodles and graffiti of the children.
I wouldn't
Because
dismiss it, man.
because to be, that they are very childish. A lot of the pictures are very childish.
yeah, and back then the parents were like, quit drawing and grab a rock already.
That's an owl.
We've got a megalithic building to build over here.
For God's sake, I've just rendered that.
I want to be an artist. I'm expressing myself.
What do you expect me to look? You've done it with bloody ochre. How am I meant to get that out?
Right.
No, you did it with that bloody reishi mushroom. Because actually, we found out it can be dye. This
Nir
one is
Shoshani.
interesting.
Shabbat shalom, brother.
Oh yeah, Nir. Hey, Nir.
Now that looks like a tree stump on its side,
Yeah.
petrified.
Look at these shapes. Very swirly.
That absolutely looks like a tree stump. Even the crack, like that crack going through it. It's like a crack going through the grain.
It does.
And the bark. Look on the top. Look on the
But
top.
it's not
Look at the
swirly
top.
enough.
Look at the top though. Right, that looks like bark on the top left corner. It looks like bark.
You just think you would see a little more swirling going on. I know it definitely does.
Well, maybe it's maybe not a tree, maybe not a tree bark, maybe a mushroom stem.
Yeah.
What does the center of a mushroom stem looks like if you cut one across? What
Yeah.
does it? Are they rings or are they?
Oh yeah, no. This thing we looked at the other day had like a dark. It almost seemed like it was a skin around the outside, and it was varying. It wasn't like bark. Bark is kind of like a uniform width, but this was like it changed widths as it went around, and it almost reminded me of a fleshy plant, not a woody plant, but it was huge. So it was a huge mushroom or a huge, blade of grass.
Oh, look at this symbolism.
Trident.
That's one thing is I'm seeing symbols I've seen elsewhere.
Where
I
is
think
this
I
in
would-
Oregon still?
Mm-hmm. I think this one is, yeah. There's a lot of petroglyphs actually in Oregon. More in the high desert, but so that's your reference, I guess, for there being any possibility of a megalithic rock. That's really worn. So there you go. That's what I got for you. Now we can take a break.
Right, guys. Hour and 30. Let's just take a quick break. If you want to go and have a pee or make a coffee or roll a doobie or whatever it is you want to do, and we will be back. And hopefully, when we come back, Burneye will be back, and we can take a trip to Sri Lanka and have a look at this rock.
either way.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Till I'm finished with mine. They want us to fight, but we just wanna get high. Work all day, all night, trying to get fly. When I get some money, I'ma buy me some time. I can't fight your war until I'm finished with mine. I used to be mad at the government, redirected some of my anger towards the mothership. Trying to guess which shell live in hell sleeps under when the grand scheme plan keeps all these people wondering why we still running in place, frustrated. Pride is mistaken for hate, it's upgraded. I got a little breath left, less suffocated. Pointed the epiphanies and call them all drug related. The time I spent with my life on bent, trying to find the friends inside my head. Must have disengaged every phase and stage of my I'm coming of age. My unofficial auto bio will be accompanied with tips on how to smile. Cause I found that when they don't see you frown, they never know that you're a threat and they don't sweat you when you come around. So who's gonna be my next door savior? Step up to your neighbor and do me a favor. Take off the mask, let it all collapse. Empty the pack and watch your wings grow back. They want us to fight, but we just wanna get high. Work all day, all night, trying to get fly. When I get some money, I'ma buy me some time. I can't fight your war until I'm finished with mine. They want us to fight, but we just wanna get high. Work all day, all night, trying to get fly. When I get some money, I'ma buy me some time. I can't fight your war until I'm finished with mine. Society becomes jealousy, intimacy becomes intensity. Say it with a smile like it's meant to be, and all of a sudden, boom, American family. And I can tell when you're mad at your past, because you tend to take them turns just a little too fast. I can tell how you push your foot on the gas, that you already knew that you was gonna finish last. Slow it down and take a little time to look up at them clouds with the fake silver lining. Up in a tree knowing damn well you'll never reach the top, but you don't stop, you keep climbing. Well, okay, it's settled. No more nights in this weed and thorn infested metal. From this day forth, only forward I'll pedal. Get the memo, I'm cutting the strings to pedal. Shuffle the cards and let's argue. Rooted in between the computer games and cartoons. Stop and watch us all get lost between God and a shot of scotch. Let's get fly. They want us to fight, but we just wanna get high. Work all day, all night, trying to get fly. When I get some money, I'ma buy me some time. I can't fight your war until I'm finished with mine. They want us to fight, but we just wanna get high. Work all day, all night, trying to get fly. When I get some money, I'ma buy me some time. I can't fight your war until I'm finished with mine.
joint bubbles? Yes. Few drinks and smoke a joint bubbles? Yes.
You're right.
I'm back.
Hang on.
You're right.
Sorry.
It's just one ant. Yeah, boy. Puny. Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt? Nope. Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Resist. Are you an actor or an activist? It's more than your right to insist. Refuse to the government admits. Take a risk. Raise your fist. Unite people, army enlist. Rebel music transmit like this, proving that the movement exists. Realize you're the catalyst. Refuse. FBI, all they forced to lie, suspected spies, clientele, tomahawks, scorch the sky, white collar crime, immortalize Yusef. Careful what you rep of the new left, only a few left. Got the bureau doing Mueller two-step, fire trap, warrants for the wiretaps, equal employer op, higher apps, read between the lines, redefine, enlist people army marching, across a hard march, dollar scams, Saudi royal fam, oil contraband, fun off for Taliban, atomic blue, balmy move, Christian and Islamic fuse, attend more funerals than barbecue, niggas died and fill them on their shoes, know your God, the con is on if you're confused. Resist. Are you an actor or an activist? It's more than your right to insist. Refuse to the government admits. Take a risk. Raise your fist. Unite people, army enlist. Rebel music transmit like this, proving that the movement exists. Realize you're the catalyst. Refuse the hate made. Push the fear past tear gas, flashbang grenades. Demonstrate. Awareness generate protest and disregard the pepper spray. Don't stop. Overthrow the legislature. Till they pay us reparations every day. Filthy pigs, murderers. The hate made. Maybe you heard of us. Revenge for the engineered virus. Slit their eyelids, carve an image in their iris. So slaughter, bloodshed, brutalizing. The truth rises. The CIA trained to crash test pilots. So feel wise. Don't believe. Cause they don't want you to see through the real eyes. So realize. Don't accept the realize. Refuse. Resist. Are you an actor or an activist? It's more than your right to insist. Refuse to the government admits. Take a risk. Raise your fist. Unite people, army enlist. Rebel music transmit like this, proving that the movement exists. Realize you're the catalyst. Refuse. Resist. Are you an actor or an activist? It's more than your right to insist. Refuse to the government admits. Take a risk, raise your fist. Unite people, army enlist. Rebel music transmit like this. Proving that the movement exists. Realize you're the catalyst. Refuse.
Shit the fuck up. I ain't white and it's lost for that, so I use color safe bleach at the laundry mat and deal with it. Usually how my squad react, we keep our hands warm with the damn Patriot Act. We burn pages, matter of fact we burn back. It was written as an outward attack. See, you can't fight a feeling, I feel terrified. There's a war against me, my friends, my fam, my problem, my life, my job, my rights and like-minded folks are like they just don't mind it. So cool, right? They wag the dog, we cast the lipstick. What kind of city plumber thought that he could make these open rugby pipes fit? Well, they don't, I'm catching the drip. I'll practice hold my breath and sink with the shit. It goes, hands up, you broke, you'll find a way to stand up. Give it up if you're hoping to never give it up. Hands up, you broke, you'll find a way to stand up. Give it up if you're hoping to never give it up. Hands up, you broke, you'll find a way to stand up. Give it up if you're hoping to never give it up. Hands up, you broke, you'll find a way to stand up. Give it up if you're hoping to never give it up. Stand up so we know who's here, who wanna open the machine and bridge against the kids. Come on, hands up if you broke, you'll find a way to stand up. Give it up if you're hoping to never give it up. Stand up so we know who's here, who wanna open the machine and break against the kids. Hands up if you broke, you'll find a way to stand up. Give it up if you're hoping to never give it up. Stand up so we know who's here, who wanna open the machine and break against the kids. Come on.
Boom. Back.
We're
Right.
back with
And
Burneye,
baby. Burney's playing Frozen. He's playing Froze. He's doing it very well, but I can see.
That's good. That's really good.
That's awesome.
It is pretty good.
Look for the movement. Look for the blink. Oh, and he's gone.
Oh, he
Hopefully
melted.
he'll be back. Hopefully he'll be back.
Seems to be having all kinds of issues tonight.
Did everybody have a good break?
Holding on, and I hope you're still enjoying this. We will for sure have him back, always and forever. Sorry, I don't know.
Thing is, he's not in the Bert and Ernie are in a different location, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bert and Ernie are actually back in his thing, but he's staying at Amber's, I think. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, why don't you get the video queued up, and if he can pop on, otherwise we can try to show it to him again. And today we might just, unfortunately, be missing him no matter which way we try. We all have those days, do we not? It'll happen.
Right.
No, just JP. This is a curtain behind me. It's not a shower.
Here he is.
Yay! You, Adam. I'm not touching him.
I got him. I got some.
Don't touch that. Gross. I'm not touching him.
No, Bernie, that's not it. The whole thing is that I do touch it, and then we both touch it at the same time, and then it counterintuitive itself.
Right. So touching
you
it.
Touched what
what Sarah means?
Jelly beans at the same time.
Obviously, Sarah's talking about bringing in the screen rather than anything else that might be going through anybody's mind when she's talking about
gross. That's my brother, Bernie.
Touching it. So, anyway, moving swiftly onwards.
This is a sea monster behind me. A sea monster's belly.
It's definitely very scaly. Fish scales more than it looks like fish scales. Doesn't look like.
So what kind of themed room do you think?
Is this Jared Booster's episode or a different one?
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, Jared. This is Jared Booster.
Yeah, so this kind of perfectly we felt like could work for what we were trying to petition.
Perfect.
You know? Right?
Yeah, I've been talking to him, and we're supposed to have him on Autodidactic Alchemist in the next week or two here.
Back. Thank you for being here. Recently, I shared with you a brief discussion on the extensive history of the Rock of Gibraltar. To supplement that narrative, and to bring another quote-unquote naturally occurring formation to the forefront, we will today focus on Lion Rock in the central province of Sri Lanka. Also known as Sigiriya or Singhagiri, Lion Rock is considered to be a rock fortress. However, even that portion of this narrative is up for debate. Essentially, what we have is an over 500 foot tall, 590 feet according to this narrative, livable and habitable rock structure that contains interwoven chambers of functionality and sustainability. In ancient times,
what we're saying is this is an example of something monolithic that became megalithic. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I mean, you would consider, first of all, the rock formation, the geological formation drew the people there to begin with.
Live their entire life on Lion Rock.
Macrolithic.
Macrolithic. There you go.
It's weird. Everybody can see it's just this great big giant lump of rock out in the middle of a plain, a flat plain. Doesn't seem to have any explanation as to why it's there. We were looking at the feet. and think like, do you think these have been carved into rock, or do you think these are geopolymer that's
They
been
need to have
poured?
samples taken of that for sure to be able to know. But that's a good question.
I mean, the story says they survived.
Much more like a manufactured addition to the rock than one that was cut directly and formed. And yet, if
So it's more of an addition. It looks more of an addition to the rock than something that was cut and formed. The way it,
Yeah, but you just cut him off. He was going on to say that the history is actually that they're remnants of the
much
original.
more like a manufactured addition to the rock than one that was cut directly and formed. And yet, if this narrative is to be believed, these paws were formed by hand and chisel over 1,000 years ago and were accompanied by a massive.
See, no, I don't
It's
think they were hand and
interesting with the
chisel. I
brick,
think
right? Like we have to where the brick meets the rock, and like you see that one piece of initial rock right above it, and then there's brick behind it, and then the paw coming out in front of it, and it looks a little more geopolymer now that you mention that.
that's
Richie.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
definitely.
It's been poured. It's a geopolymer that's been poured. So
Right, like they'd have to
lion's
run a
head.
sample test between that chunk of rock that's that initial piece of rock and then the feet below. And actually, the closer it gets, it looks like the paw is actually made of brick, and then it's geopolymer over the brick.
Which adorned the
Or the
top
brick came
entrance of the
after.
rock.
what we'd love to know is, when was the brick there? Because I could believe that basically it already existed as the lion, and then they came at a later date and added all of this. It was like maybe that it was a ruin when they found it, so there was a different civilization that built it to the one that put these bricks here.
Yeah, and it's like I was already thinking I need to bring up this with Paul Cook on the next episode. I talk with him because there needs to be a way to test the different samples, like the brick itself, the paw layer, and then that original piece of rock, to see if they're made of the same things and like what's what, right? A simple way to solve it, really.
Above the great paws. Besides that instrumental fact, we also have many more interesting facts given in the currently accepted narrative. Facts which I believe, if shared properly worldwide, would have given Lion Rock much more infamy than it has today. Have you?
And we were saying, like, well, he's going to say it now. Have you ever heard of Lion Rock before? Did you even know that it existed in Sri Lanka? Anybody in the chat?
I myself have known about it for at least a decade, but I was huge into researching like the megaliths and stuff, maybe even 2 decades now. But like, it's documented in some books, and like Sri Lanka advertises a lot, but the Western world hadn't really heard about it up until about a couple months ago, and it started trending all of a sudden.
Ever heard of this massive feat of ingenuity before? I've tried to, in this video, connect the dots as much as I could, providing you with not only...
The thing is, right, when they tell people about this, if you did hear about it, it's not... I get the impression that they really don't sell the engineering behind it. They just, this was a a monastery. It was used by the Buddhist monks, and it was a monastery, and But I wonder how much detail they go into.
I agree with that,
and stuff.
Richie. Especially like the advanced hydraulic engineering within it, and Jared will get into that in a minute. But he doesn't.
That still works. That still works now.
Exactly, like it's got plumbing within it. This fountain plumbing hydraulics where there's like several different layers of pools and fountains running and everything. It's like,
And
how
it
does
and
that
it
water
takes
get
water
up there
up.
and keep running up there, right?
Yeah.
It's so advanced, and it's like they don't do they not cover it because it's just that advanced? Like, did it have to be built with the entire rock, or like how did they get in there and do that? Like, you know, like,
Well, I mean, what he's saying is that what the official narrative says is that there were natural tunnels and caves that they went in and modified and basically they engineered it out of what was already there, which was natural. That's what they're saying. That's what the story is.
which it makes no sense how that could be natural and have water going up into it for like.
What's that called when they send water up? It's got a name. It's a
come to me.
reverse.
No.
It's a, oh god.
I should know the name. I took geology and geography. It will come to me.
Well, if there's an artesian well, it would pump with pressure. So if they had an artesian well from the top there, they could pump the water up there.
I don't think there is though. I think they use hydraulics and gravity, doesn't it? It uses this.
Yeah, it would have to. I'm guessing it's probably some sort of like Hedron's fountain, I think it's called. The style of hydraulic, like the triple chamber and like the two connecting up and the pressure within it to keep it pumping. And essentially, it's also the Hedron's fountain design is a perpetual motion, like free energy machine because the water keeps circulating.
I'm going to find the bloody name of this. What it's called when you send water uphill. Because I actually did a thing about it. There was a urban exploration channel that did a video about. They went and visited one. It's like the oldest one.
You're not talking about aqueducts.
No, because an aqueduct is something that takes it over.
Pumping. Yeah,
aqueducts have to be like very straight with just the slightest
decline. The slightest decline, so that it constantly flows downwards. No, this is about sending water naturally uphill.
Driving me nuts.
It's called a reverse. I want to say it's not a dike. It's not. Oh god! Somebody in the siphon.
Yeah, siphon only works if you're pulling it down. So.
No, it's like a reverse siphon or something. It's a siphon uphill.
You're thinking about a gravity bomb.
Gravity well, maybe. Gravity well.
Gravity well.
I think that's what it's called. Gravity well, maybe.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of.
I know that there's a specific term for it. It was like I remember reading it in a geology book many times.
That's driving me insane.
The Archimedes screw that they're saying in the live chat, that's a way that you'd be able to get the water up, but you'd have to constantly have someone like manning powering the screw itself to keep it moving, right?
You'd have to have mules, wouldn't you, on a thing, walking around in a circle constantly, like unless they did it with hamsters.
Engine or physical labor turning it.
Anyway, sorry, let me press play on this video.
The oldest known photographs of Lion Rock which I could locate, but diving into ancient and modern sources, I've tried to separate the wheat from the chaff to provide you with a brief but detailed overview of the narrative. I'll try to point out the absolute bonkers aspects of this rock formation. Truly what became a rock city, one that at its peak, you could live your entire life on without ever having to step foot off of Lion Rock. So let's begin. Now, as far as the currently accepted history,
one of the things that I see is like these level, like it is like it's been
Parallel
poured or
lines
something,
throughout it, hey?
sort of.
And intervals. And look at those like the indentation caves and stuff.
Yeah, these are weird. These are like what was here before? Is it something that was built onto the side of it, or and like
It'd be
this?
very interesting to see the inside and like the caves within and whatnot, and the structure of the water that moves.
Goes, meaning not
the discoloration as well, the way it's bleeding out. We were talking about this. What is it? There's obviously iron ore in there. There's oxidation, rust, basically. But just this black stuff, I think, is something different. I think this is from the iron ore here, but this is different.
Not myth or
Hydraulic
legend.
well?
Although we'll dive in.
Hey?
Hydraulic well, it's hydraulics. Definitely, that's the science of it. But the
myth and
it
legend
will
then.
come to me. There's a specific term. You're absolutely right, Richie.
As well. We're told that the area immediately surrounding Lion Rock has been occupied since the Mesolithic period, or for nearly 5,000 years. Evidence for this is supported by the Aligala rock shelters found directly east of the rock. We're told Buddhist monasteries were created at the base of the rock by the 3rd century BC, where elaborate use of the naturally occurring boulders and tunnel systems were established. Within these tunnels, many of which have only recently been excavated, were found numerous ancient inscriptions indicating the age of the Lion Rock and the length of its occupation, as well as a brief overview of its ancient history. As we look into the more modern history, using the word modern here very loosely because we're still talking over 1,500 years ago, but coming to the time of, quote, recorded history with names and dates given, we have the King of Sri Lanka ruling from 455 to 473 AD, King Datu Sena. Under his rule, the Kingdom of Sri Lanka was united after 26 years of infighting. King Datu Sena, according to currently accepted narratives, had...
This is all around, if you think about it, this is all around the end of the Roman Empire. 477 to 495. This is coming close to the end of the Roman Empire in, what was it, 520, 526 or whatever it was.
Hey, I just read how they got their water.
Go on.
They used rainwater. They had huge tanks up there. And so one of them they used for drinking water and one of them they collected for bathing because they're in the middle of a rainforest area.
And one of them they collected for the gravity bong.
So if it rains
exactly.
that much, then...
The gravity bong was always going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. They grew their weed up there.
Multiple children, including a legitimate son,
never had
Magulena, and another...
See, we were talking about if this was carved out of the rock or if it was built up with brick, and you can see all this brickwork, but they're not like normal bricks. They're like little slabs.
I think it's a combination, and maybe it was rebuilt, because there was a lot of wars up there.
It kind of has some similarities to Machu Picchu.
That's what I thought
to
too.
A non-royal consort. This son was named Kashyapa. Kashyapa, along with the king's who led the king's army, staged a revolt against King Datu Sena, leading to King Datu Sena's capture and his legitimate son, Magulena, fleeing the island of Sri Lanka for southern India. Kashyapa then took over the throne of Sri Lanka, even going as far as burying his father, King Datu Sena, in the walls of the Great Lion Rock alive. From here, the legend continues, that Magolena used his knowledge gained from his advanced kingdom of Sri Lanka to forge an army in India.
The other thing that we were talking about was if, like, so all of this is obviously trees, but is there a great big mound of earth here as well? Is this all, how far? Because the plain, it's very flat down below this line here. It's very flat plain. So is there a dirt built? Is that earth there, or is that all just foliage from the trees? I mean, that because it's coming up pretty high. I don't think the trees come up that high. So how much of this is buried? Was my point. How much? Like, is it all sitting above the earth, or is there
Is it like
the same
an
amount?
iceberg?
Yeah, buried underneath.
Hello,
to take
hello,
revenge
Campbell.
for his father's death. Kashi this, and thus he moved the Sri Lankan capital from Anuradhapura, which it had been for many years, to a secluded, remote capital in the heart of the Sri Lankan jungle.
There, that's a better
We
picture.
have no written records of when the
Damn
monastery
it.
or Lion Rock in itself was abandoned or absorbed.
Sorry, I
by
didn't
the
mean
next
to skip
kingdom.
it then.
The next line of history in this narrative
That's a great
doesn't
shot.
arise until the 7th.
You see the light? It's like it's been poured in layers.
Yeah.
Century, nearly 400 years later, when Lion Rock is mentioned as a small trading outpost for the kingdom of Kandy. Again, after this, the history apparently goes dormant. In the early 1800s, roughly 1831, British Major Jonathan Forbes is said to have spotted the massive Lion Rock, covered entirely at that time by tree, bush, mud, and forest, on his way to his British camp. This brought renewed interest to the site. However, the same narrative goes on to say that it was roughly 60 years or until the 1890s that true archaeological excavations were undertaken on Lion Rock. Then again, after nearly another 100 years, in 1982, the site was finally added to the Cultural Triangle Project, a Sri Lankan preservation and restoration project. Nowadays, the site can be visited and is by over 1 million tourists per year. However, the deepest reaches of Lion Rock are still a mystery to even the most educated of scholars.
So it's like when Paul Cook went on that trip into the mine, and there's so much of the mine that they're like, yeah, that's closed, can't go in there, not allowed in there. They close off so many areas. I wonder how.
I guarantee they won't let you inside the caves at all, or like the tunnels within, or see where the water system, any of it.
So DN is in chat, and he was there before they closed all that down. So he was actually able to go into some of the tunnels at the site.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. DN, do you have any footage or pictures that you can share with us?
And
He
just
was saying
great.
he was actually hooked up with a doctor there, maybe like an archaeologist. I'm not sure. There you go.
I hope you're well, DN. Hope you're doing well, mate.
Yeah, I read that, DN, but I actually read since then that they actually had big collecting pools, which kind of makes sense if it rains so much there.
Be silent, wasps. I know what that's about.
Right.
So far didn't do this unexplainable site justice. Here are just a few examples of the advancements that were found within, on top of, or directly surrounding Lion Rock.
There you go. You can see they're weird bricks, though. Weird brick shapes.
Yeah, they're basically probably
Lion
not
Rock
made
is
with,
considered to be one of the.
They might even use
brick
leaves.
pyramid almost.
Asymmetry to intentionally interlock the man-made geometrical and natural forms of the surroundings. Meaning, again, like many other ancient structures, we have bricks and stones, man-made construction, literally
Wow, look at
blended
that
together
archway
with
there, carved out of stone.
But carved or geopolymer, right? Like
Well,
we'll have
yeah,
to
I don't know.
Campbell
That's
next time we have
actually
Paul on.
brick when you look at it up close.
Right. Well, there is a
brick.
lot of brick, but then there's the background, which it's like, was it one giant geopolymer or was it actually natural? And I'm starting to really doubt that this is natural at all. Or yeah, could it have been completely made of brick from the ground up? That's where they need to start doing testing on the different types of stones, like what's in the background and then the brick stones.
And then
I
when
think
you
the brick was an
from the
addition.
other angle, you can see the obvious like striations that are almost uniform, like they poured layer by layer.
Is this on top of it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the surrounding areas or on top of it.
I think some of that water was on top of it.
Sophisticated surface and subsurface hydraulic systems, many of which are still operational today. In 1907, researcher John Hill wrote, "The whole face of the hill appears to have been a gigantic picture gallery, the largest picture in the world, perhaps, in reference to the hundreds, if not thousands, of hand-drawn frescoes which once populated the face of Lion Rock. It is estimated that nearly 90% of these frescoes depicted female entities. Some would say goddesses, some would say the king's consorts, alluding to, in some people's opinions, the real purpose of the Lion Rock, which could have been a pleasure palace for the king."
We have to take it there in the 21st century, man. It's because we don't have any understanding of Kundalini and and really the power behind sexual desire and stuff. And it's
You might not. You might not.
What's that, Bernie?
Are you covering up Sarah?
Right. Goddess worship is where we've lost goddess worship.
Yeah. Well, they've removed the divine feminine, haven't they?
Both for the colors used, but also
what a coincidence.
shading
See how this works. Just remove the feminine.
And but they're still doing it. They're still doing that. They're still removing the feminine.
Like locations around Sri Lanka. Many have questioned the nature of these frescoes,
like Kamala
and one could
Harris
argue these frescoes.
And also think of the word together. If you split the word together up, it says to get her.
Amber's saying hello.
They actually have ties to an
Hey, Amber.
group of people. Some would call
Speaking
them
of the divine feminine.
Others may claim these to be the nymphs of later sagas. But it is written that the island of Sri
Lanka. Look at that water. Like, is that a pool?
No, that's a pool. That's a pool. That's been tiled with proper pool tiles. That's a pool. So, and they've got nice sunbeds there. Have they turned that into a little resort? Is that what that's about? Because that's been turned into a pool. They've renovated it and they've put pool tiles on. Blue pool tiles. That's the only reason the water's blue like that. So is that a resort?
Lanka, and it's distinct but remote location.
Because I mean, if it's a resort, I want to go and stay there, man.
To the world,
it seems like they pretty much made it a
many
resort.
Tales and legends of mythical creatures and godlike beings who helped shape the society there. A subsequent key aspect to understanding this history may come to us from something else that is contained within Lion Rock. That is the Great Mirror Wall. Considered by many to be the first culturally accepted form of graffiti, a sort of blank was here, where blank you would put your name, a sort of rendering of one's experiences or those who actually reached Lion Rock. This wall is said to have been built from red brick and masonry attached to this mountainside, and then the outside was lined with what was once highly polished white plaster. This wall was said to be so finely made. And
I'll just mention it again because this is something that I mentioned to the guys when we watched this. How do you polish plaster? Because it's made of granules. So how do you polish plaster?
Paint it with shiny paint.
Shiny paint.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's not
metallic
no,
paint.
but that's painting. That's not polishing. It's like polishing is basically sanding, but yeah, I'm
so reflective that the king would actually walk by it daily to admire his own reflection. From the 8th century onward,
I mean, I'm sat here saying, look, how on earth do they make plaster that you can polish so fine that you can see your reflection in it? How does that happen? But how the fuck did they build this place in the first place?
It would have to be
if they can,
geopolymer, right?
if
Like,
yeah,
we'll have to talk to Paul about this.
And it'd have to be some sort of silicon, like glassy,
Shit. Why can I never remember the name of it? Campbell, do you remember the name of the geopolymer stuff that is the granite style? We need Paul for this one. We should have had Paul on this.
Well,
roughly the
you let him know.
Of the time of Lion Rock being a Buddhist monastery, travelers would pilgrimage to the Great Lion Rock, where the plaster of the mirror wall had already begun to darken through exposure to the elements. Here, the weary travelers would often leave inscriptions on the formerly white wall, poems describing their ascent to Lion Rock. Over 1,500 unique inscriptions have been found to date, and of those, at least 695 of them have been deciphered. These poems and quatrains are some of the best evidence we have that a wide range of visitors from all parts of the world made their way to Lion Rock in ancient times. The most interesting and, in my opinion, most important aspect of Lion Rock, however, is the architecture, which allows somehow for the use of both fresh water to nearly all parts of the rock and to symmetrical designs that incorporate the top, middle, inside, and outer portions of the rock.
So the stonework there, that's like a medieval stone. That's like the castles. The other stuff is like Machu Picchu and whatever, but this is like castles in Europe.
Yeah, like the structure itself, the geopolymer is pre-cataclysm, and then the brickwork and stuff like that is within like the last couple thousand or even 500, the Tartarian time, essentially.
Like in the last 1,000 years, or 1,500 years or something like that.
That incorporate the top, middle, inside, and outer portions of the rock. Again, this is said to be a naturally occurring solid rock formation, basically in the middle of a jungle. But science tells us that, for all intents and purposes, nearly every aspect of the rock has been developed, entrenched, dug, bored, and attached. And yet the rock itself, which seems completely out of place in the jungle, occurred here naturally millions of years ago. The rock's apex, or the top, is fully built out, and this top of the rock was once home to a literal community, one that never had to leave Lion Rock to survive. Lion Rock is nearly 600 feet tall. Caves are...
So look, poured stones, poured stairs, like
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like that all looks geopolymer for sure, as opposed to chiseled or cut out. And definitely the brick and that stone needs to have chemical analysis comparison.
Yeah.
But look at how green the water is there, and then how blue it was in that pool. So this is like where they collect the water, and then it goes through the hydraulic system and like inner filtering before it gets to like the lower swimmable pools or drinking water. I'm really fascinated on how it works.
Well, I found an Airbnb within like a good view of the place for like $9 a night.
Yeah.
Carved into the rock at all levels, where no path to the cave was ever found. Only because of later construction, like modern day steps, are most parts of the cave system accessible. Before those steps, only those with knowledge of the Lion Rock and its interior would be able to ascend to its highest reaches. Intricate interior pathways, large enough to march armies through, yet concealed to the public, litter the inside of Lion Rock. Red brick masonry, the type found hundreds of years earlier and thousands
Large enough to drive armies through, armies with elephants in, because he talks about elephants
of
in a
years
bit.
later sit upon this rock like the true inheritors. We're told the rock
What you
once
want
sported
to do
a
is get in
massive
there,
lion's head.
with a backpack, and then just find a place to hide till they close the place down, and then bring a joint for the guard.
It looks pretty symmetrical in like the indentation, and then one half down and one half up. Like
It's asymmetrical. They say it's perfectly asymmetrical.
wow.
And if you look, it's like there's the triangle
Right?
there, and then the triangle there, sort of next to each other, to the diagonal line across. And
Yeah.
that's above, and this is below. As
That's
above,
just
so below.
crazy.
Look over
How
here,
would you
though.
engineer that? Like they had to build it from the ground up.
But outside of it as well, I'd like to go. Like I was saying, if you strip away all of these trees, what's here? What does it look like? Like if we got the LiDAR on here, what would we see?
Well, check it out. Just what's on the top of there is like some super highly advanced permaculture. Like they say they designed that so well that they could literally, people could
Never
just
leave.
live up there, never leave.
Just live on the top of that and never ever
Hey,
leave.
this is like the first penthouse.
Right? Like actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause apparently they had gardens and food up there and everything.
Yeah, everything, man. I'm sure they grew their weed up there.
Reminiscent to the tribes of Judah. The kingdom of Candy, as depicted on ancient maps, looks like
the kingdom of candy as well.
Because how sweet it would be to live up there.
Right. You'd always be high.
Of an avocado, being
Or at
the
least
inner candy to
590
the
feet
outer
high.
shell of the Sri Lankan.
It's the inner candy to the outer shell, the avocado of Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka's an avocado, and it's the meaty, because the
core seed.
Yeah, the core seed of an avocado is really good for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can cook it, and
we had avocados for dinner tonight.
Coastline. At nearly the dead center of this candy, at the sweet spot, is Lion Rock. Lion Rock had, and still has, working water conduits and water aquifers, which over 1,000 years later still provide clean water to the greater parts of the rock construction. Lion Rock has countless living quarters, literal neighborhoods dedicated to specific populations who once resided here. Lion Rock is so large that the artificially carved water reservoirs actually have man-made limestone islands that are built on top of them. The entire rock, depending on what angle you view it from, can often be seen as symmetrical, and the utmost importance was put on sacred geometry and its construction. The underground conduit water aquifers and the system dates to at least the year 500 or earlier and supplies water to, for lack of a better term, the entire jungle that surrounds the rock. And yet, you'll notice, also surrounding the rock in the immediate vicinity, in any direction, is more elaborately built architecture that is all relatively symmetrical, all seemingly dug into the earth, and all interconnected.
Look at that. That's built out of brick.
I've been to some of these caves in China. I was in a cave where there was actually, it was a whole cave system in this whole valley, and there were all these sculptures in the caves, and they're definitely carved out. And they say it was over hundreds of years. For hundreds of years, the people lived there like in peace, artists and musicians, and they just sat there and, you know, worshiped Buddha and carved.
That's a lot of carving.
Yeah,
as well, to
and
live
you would
on
think
top
when
of
you
the
look
rock.
at it,
Can you imagine
it could be
domesticating
1,000
an
years.
elephant and then
They
transporting it
may
to the
say
top of
200
Lion
years,
Rock,
but that could
over
be like
500
1,000 years
feet in
of
the
peace.
air? That alone is a spectacle that needs some explanation, and yet we have none. This highly sophisticated fortress, or pleasure palace, depending on how you look at it, or possibly a gift from the gods, seems to predate man's desire to fully explain how these miraculous structures were actually created.
It's not man's desire. Well, it's not man in the collective sense of all of us. It's not our desire. It's the desire of those people that are hiding the information from us to hide the information from us.
More or less, the narrative alludes that this massive fortification was built in roughly a 20-year time period. Yes, it was known as a Buddhist monastery, but we're told the usurper king transformed the rock from simple caves to an interconnected ancient city that we see today. He did this all while remaining vigilant that the true heir to the throne would return, which he did, and take back his throne, which he did, all while halting any further construction on Lion Rock. Meaning, according to this narrative, we're to believe that Lion Rock, all of this, was built between 473 and 495 AD.
The moral of the story is that the oppressors won again.
Yeah, the moral of the story is.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, we're not saying anything. You know, that's what the history says. That's the narrative. So that's what we're going to stick with.
Built it in 20 years. Yep.
Right? Like, as if that was built in 20 years.
Yep, that's how I feel about it.
Getting karate.
Well, you know, you get a little loopy. So, Bernie, did you say you had some?
Yeah, you've got some exciting
interesting
stuff for
stuff
us.
to show us?
Yeah, I got a
Here, I'll
share
pull
up
it up.
there if you want to bring it up. There we go.
Yes, sir. Ooh, what is this?
This is the Faram Foundation.com, and Faram Foundation is Dr. Faram who came up with or discovered what he calls geoglyphology, or the geoglyphs. And on his site here, he has the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians that I constantly talk about and discuss, of which in the next week or two I will be finally going down and exploring it on site. But in this picture you can see the one main native face, what looks like a second like ogre or Viking style face. On top of it, a third Olmec face on the top right side, and then possibly a fourth Olmec-y, Aztec-y style face to the right of it there. And this is from above. That's a road going up in an oil derrick that looks like an earbud for him. But just
this is an aerial photograph.
Yeah, 100% real photograph.
No, aerial. It's an aerial
exactly.
photograph. It's from above.
You got it. And
real quick, Bernie, Kevin wanted to show you this really fast. Can you zoom in on that? Just in relation to your medicine.
Switch over to that screen. Hold on.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were on it.
Looks like trilobites or something.
If you zoom in, wait till you see the faces.
Yes.
Wait till you see the
like
faces.
These are Mayan flints.
Oh,
no,
wow.
Show the faces on it.
Okay.
Oh, go back to the other one. Go back to the other one though, because it looks so much like the medicine hat.
I was starting to see, on the left there in the middle.
Yeah.
See, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're all faces. And
Right? Looking almost identical to some of those guys.
right? Oh, that's our mushroom.
That's the
Sorry.
chicken of the woods. It was
Yeah.
so good.
See? So
Look at that. That looks like
immediately
someone. That
when I
looks like
first
someone
saw you
holding his
share
fist
that,
up.
Bernie, I
That looked
remember
like a demon gun like that.
Yeah.
That looks like an eagle on the top.
Oh yeah, I can totally see those that look identical to some of those guys.
Yeah, yeah, and the first time you shared that, that's immediately I remember this. I saw this in National Geographic back in the 80s. And it's the first thing I thought of when I saw those geoglyphs.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Look, there's an eagle. There's a
all kinds
Oh,
of stuff.
dragon.
These are
look.
called.
It's holding his fist up. It's got like a pointy head, just to the left there, and he's holding his fist up like that, going.
Yeah, that's the major bird right there.
And you got the two faces. You got the two faces, and that square in the middle. You know that where there's no stone, it looks like a square.
And this guy's got a
You seen
bird.
that?
He's got the bird.
Yeah,
on
look
his
at
head.
that bird guy.
A bird and a lizard. There's a lizard up there.
Wow.
So
It's got almost.
cool.
Do you know what? That's almost a hedgehog.
Yeah, that's this one here. Look at this one with the pointed nose.
like an anteater.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bird on the right there with his tail feathers.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you for
they're
sharing
like
that.
right. So those are the Easter Island Olmec type heads.
Yeah, and then that matches Bernie's picture there.
Yeah, so this guy, like the Olmec one. And then there's also this guy there, the Mayan with the feathered serpent headdress.
Look, with a beard. Looks like he's got a beard. That looks like Bunyan. That looks like Paul Bunyan.
And then this guy here almost looks like an Oriental guy that's been eroded away, maybe too, or
almost looks like an alien.
Who knows?
Yeah, he almost looks like he got infected by the alien.
We watched Prometheus last night. I think it's stuck in our heads a little bit.
Yeah.
No doubt. So there's the faces, and then there's the geoglyphs. And they're lines composing the follow detecting of photos. So these geoglyphs are in this site 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 1 I think is up a little bit. But he claims that the geoglyphs are lines of megalithic stones that he's found, and that he measures out. And he measures the length of the line and the angle of the line, and then plots them out, and they map out like directly to like Hawaii, to the tip of the Baja Peninsula there,
Wow.
like Mexico City, and all over. So one of my main goals in going down there is finding these megalithic geoglyph lines and confirming that they actually exist, these artificial stone lines, and that, confirming geoglyphs, because that's something else, that these ancient stone runes actually plot out the entire world, specific spots. Like one of them goes all the way to Cairo, Egypt, and it's like this is in
on the 33rd degree. Look at on the 33rd degree. Goes to Cairo on the 33rd degree.
And this was part of my awakening with the connections that a lot of us already know about. You know how the pyramids in the Easter Island, I forget the third spot. You know that make the triangle, Bermuda Triangle or something.
Okay, it looks like that one is going towards Ottobalo. If you extend it out. Yeah, look, scroll back.
Go back up. That one on the left.
This line right here.
On the left.
Yeah, I think that'll hit Ottobalo.
Oh, right there.
It does, doesn't it? It looks like it's
Definitely, guys. Come on, right? Seriously.
It's going down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does it say?
Just have to keep going there.
Imagine if we find ancient tombs with Solomon's
Cape
gold.
Blanco, Oregon.
Yeah, there's a. I was actually just looking at that. That's so funny. I was trying to find the evidence of the star fort there.
So
and yeah,
apparently you'll find something at Cape Blanco because it plots right to it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let's go and have a look.
What's it called?
Well, yeah.
Cape
Look
what?
at Google Earth, but just get it ready.
Cape what?
It's called Cape Blanco. There's a lighthouse there. I've been there. One of my favorite hiking spots actually is right near there, called Black Lock Point.
Black Rock.
No, Black Lock.
Black Rock.
Don't
Lock.
want Black
Lock.
Lock.
L-O-C-K.
Oh,
Lock.
Black Lock, right.
So this right here is the entire territory that's mapped out by all of the geoglyphs in Medicine Hat. So it goes all the way to Hawaii to, I guess, the Suez Canal there, going through Cairo up to the tip of Greenland. Just crazy. But that is just one of the many sites that he does here and found the geoglyphs. He's also found them in the Bosnian pyramids, pretty much verifying that the Bosnian pyramids are 100% artificial man-made pre-cataclysm, and that he's measuring the actual angles and lengths of just the sides of the pyramids of them to get these exact same radials, and that those sides plotted out exactly go to Tunis, to Lewis Island, and to Luxor, Egypt on the Pyramid of the Sun.
Well, do you want to see this quickly? Cape Blanco.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we go further, let's take a look-see.
Yeah, and when we look at these spots, you got to consider the ocean.
Pyramid Rock.
Right? What is Pyramid Rock? Let's see.
Shut up.
That's exactly what it goes to, is Pyramid Rock.
Black Rock.
Pre-cataclysm that would have been
Black
That
Rock.
would have been 400 feet above water or higher.
Black Rock. We were
Scroll-
talking about Black Rock.
That's creepy, and you should
Are we
get
able
in there. I want to
zoom
see
on it
pyramid.
at all? On the Pyramid Rock or whatever there?
Get in there, how you can get to that angle. I want to see what Pyramid Rock looks like.
And is it the tip of an actual pyramid?
Right?
They're not going to show us.
They're gonna give
They're
us
not going to show
garbage.
us. Yeah, they're not going to show
Absolutely
us.
nothing. They won't let us see, hey? It's look at those artificial waves they have over it and everything.
Yeah.
Instead of the picture from above that would clearly show an underwater pyramid.
Interesting. I gotta go again. I have pictures of that place. I've been there.
You're going to have to go scuba diving there, Sarah.
Whoa, look at the shape. Look at the shape. Pull up on that. That looks like a little star fort almost at the end. From this angle, it does. It looks like it has a point there. It looks like it's 5 points. That looks like an obelisk.
Like a pentagon. What
Yeah.
is that out
Look
there?
at the spiral. The spiral sort of.
Telling you guys.
Oh, your instincts 100% correct on this spot.
Look.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That guy's like, do, just pushed my wife off a cliff. Nobody's looking.
Nobody saw that, did they?
Just whack her with the stick.
Were you with her at the time? Nobody can prove it.
Okay.
So that's weird. That's a bit weird, that rock there, man.
Yeah.
Look at
That
that.
looks like
That
that-
is one strange point out there.
That's a dog.
It looks like the dog, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not, but yeah. Interesting. Okay. I'll try to make these trips happen before I move.
Yeah, you better. And then the next trip is Chaos Caves in Ecuador.
Oh, dude. And then we got to go to Bolivia, and then we got to go to Peru, and then we got to go Chile. You ready?
Yes.
Yeah, man. What's this? Caves in Ecuador?
Chaos Caves?
Chaos Caves.
Keokokos, I think, caves.
Kev? Do you know him?
CAO Keokokos. CAO space COCOS, maybe? Anywho, it's where
Keo Cacao.
the collection was found.
Fascinating.
So this is another spot in Central America that he's found, showing all of these indentations and what looks like look at that, straight rectangles and stuff. Some sort of catastrophe must have happened there along this. And it's because one of the radials pointed to this spot, I guess, is how he found that. And this is still the Bosnian pyramids radials that we're looking at right now, and that he dates them to at least 32,000 BCE because of when these radials, these geoglyphs, the other places they incorporate, and then when they stop incorporating in the newer builds and like showing up in all the other geoglyphs, basically. So that it's like the ones in the Bosnian pyramids are some of the oldest, and that also other geoglyphs that incorporate the Bosnian pyramids into them are some of the oldest geoglyphs to have them built in, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that one of the geoglyphs of one of the sides of these Bosnian pyramids goes directly to the modern day southern boundary of Russia. Like, how does it know? How did they know that the boundary of Russia, the same Eastern Empire, Tartarian Empire, ended right there 33,000 years ago, 34,000 years ago? Just boggles the mind. And then he also has found...
I mean, that is if it's 33,000 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Or pre-cataclysm, or however old it is. That the Atlantean or whatever was before the Younger Dryas event, the 12,000-year-old catastrophe flooding reset, or catastrophe, not even a reset, is what wiped it out, or when it was built, at least that age. And then he's also found, though, that the old city Moscow, so all the old Star Fort cities, the Star Citadel inner cities with their crazy alignments in the streets and stuff, that they are also geoglyphs, and that he's mapped out the lengths and angles of the streets of old Moscow and found that they plot out directly to the tips and complete border of modern day Russia. So it's something that it's a system that isn't as ancient, or is just as ancient, but that there's still the powers that be that are still using it today.
They still respect it. They might have changed. The buildings may have changed, but the lines remain.
Exactly.
Has there been any ley line?
They were still using and implementing this technology and mapping system.
It would be interesting to take these and put them over ley lines to see how it matches up.
Yeah,
absolutely. I actually was just sent a ley line map earlier today that we'll be able to do that with.
So it was it Makeda? Was it Makeda that basically he was the guy that it was after him when they stopped mapping
I
ley lines
believe you're
on the
correct, Rich.
on the land. So yeah, it'd be interesting to get an old map as well, if it would be possible to get an old map with the ley lines.
And then look at this, hey, that this is the territory plotted out by the Bosnian pyramids, and then it pretty much makes up the modern day EU. And like it even goes out to, is that the Azores or the Canary Islands out there off of, is that
Yeah,
where
if
you
you
are?
imagine
The
that
line?
if you imagine that, because between England and Norway, you've got Doggerland, which it's accepted that Doggerland was above the ocean before. So like
Yeah.
all of the Mediterranean,
All of
the
this would
Black
be above
Sea,
land.
all of that, if that was all above ground,
Yeah, no doubt.
above water line,
Water.
sorry, above the water, yeah.
Right, and so border marking at one of the points. So this Antiquitech looking border marking is exactly where one of those radials goes to from the geoglyph on the Bosnian pyramid and marks out still the Russia-European border to this day. And the second one of where it marks out, clearly it's been rebuilt. And then the really fascinating is the Yanaguni pyramids.
That's the one outside Japan. The one outside Japan, is it? The one in the...
Exactly, right off. It's the southernmost island tip of Japan, and it's closer to Thailand here. You can see it's right off the east coast of Taiwan, sorry, not Thailand, Taiwan. And here's the crazy part is here's the sketch of all the angles and walls of the Yanaguni structure pyramid, and then he maps and plots them all out like he does with his little equation, and the radials and geoglyphs of the Yanaguni structure. So these are the walls of this structure carved out, measured out, plotted out. And it gives you this giant area right here, which it goes to Hawaii. It goes almost down to Australia, but you got New Guinea there. And it's the identical territory that was held by Japan in World War II at the height of the Japanese Empire. And that the northernmost island there of
we love coincidences, man.
Right, exactly. Like, look at this. It goes right up to the tip of what was the Russian Tartarian Empire, but not above it, and exactly the same spots that Japan claimed during World War II.
Yeah, I love coincidences like that. Really? Are you kidding? We're claiming the exact same region. Wow. What are the odds of that?
Exactly. And like, this is the walls of this structure underwater, 400 feet underwater. Yes, this natural rock under the ocean just happens to plot out the height of the Japanese Empire.
I wonder if that was Mu.
Right? Could have been. Oh, I guess no, but it doesn't go down to Easter Island and as much, just goes to the tip of Hawaii. So I guess Mu would be one empire over.
So, but was Hawaii and Easter Island? Do you think they were part of Mu, or do you think they told stories of Mu?
So the legend goes that they were the tips, that it was like Easter Island, Hawaii, and New Zealand were the tips of the continent, and it extended all the area in between, and that they were all that remained after.
Right, because the sea levels went up.
Hmm.
That's what they say about Easter Island too. You know, all the archaeologists are trying to figure out how they did what they did, but they're not taking into account that the island was much bigger.
It was completely mud flooded as well. completely
but I
mud
mean, the
flooded.
sea levels rose. You can go out off the coast of almost every continent and go into 90 feet of seawater and find cities there.
Yeah.
They don't publicize this, but that's true.
I mean, well, if you think about it, they're talking about climate change. That Al Gore, when he was talking about it, he was saying that water levels were going to rise 15 feet or something, or 12
Yeah, but it
feet.
has nothing to
Yeah,
do
we
with what
should
he's
already
talking
be
about.
underwater according
Just
to
12
Inconvenient
feet.
Truth.
12 feet takes out most of the UK, takes out all of London. You know, California, Florida, the Florida Keys would disappear, wouldn't they?
But I mean, if
Yeah.
you believe,
exactly.
So what I'm saying is, it doesn't really take that much water to wipe out an awful lot of civilization.
I
It doesn't
think
take
that's
that much
right.
of a rise.
why they're
You got
showing
it.
you with hurricanes. Like they're showing you the power. Did you see any of the footage from
Yeah.
The way
Hurricane and the surge that
the
came
way
in?
well, it's the way it was pulling it out of the bay on one side, but then it was swelling and
Dumping it on
surging
the
on the
other.
other
but they're only
side,
getting like 8
like
feet.
16,
If the 8 feet
16
didn't
foot.
go away, if the 8 feet stayed there and didn't go away, people would just have to move away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would
So
be uninhabitable.
this is another glyph, couple of geoglyphs. So Yanaguni is just east of Taiwan, and then I guess these ones are just off the coast of Taiwan. That you can see them here under the ocean, and when he plots these ones out, they literally go to the north and south tip of Japan, Okinawa Island, Samoa, and Fiji.
Oh, interesting. The Okinawa connection. Wait, isn't there a
And-
star fort on Okinawa?
Sorry?
Is there a star fort on Okinawa?
Oh yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, Okinawa.
And that's
is a
that
star
huge marine
city.
base.
It
Yeah.
is a star city, 100%.
Think
There you
about
go.
the
then-
amount of bombing that took place in the Second World War of islands in the Pacific and
Right?
the
Just
Philippines and
would have destroyed all of these islands and all the megaliths and ancient stuff on
It's-
them. So here's the second one there off of the coast of Taiwan, right here, that he's plotted out. And that how the heck does it randomly, those random angles lengths, plot out exactly to Hawaii, Wake Island, Christmas Island, Marshall Islands, Guam, and Samoa. Literally the most isolated islands on the world.
and we're just talking about just
It's a simulation.
so
Well,
I mean,
listen, guys, if we were playing a risk game right now, and all of a sudden we figured out all this stuff, and we were like on different teams and we're fighting against each other, we would suddenly realize that we'd all been duped,
And we're
that
all
somebody
one.
else had set it all up, had given us the guns, and said, "Look at all those bad guys over there, shoot them." You know, that's basically.
but that
what's
is what
unhappening
happened.
here.
That
I
is
know.
basically what happened.
It was like, hey, you want that, don't you? You want that. You should take it. Just take it. It's yours.
Well, they
I mean,
killed
it-
all the adults and then raised the kids and told them the
Just
truth.
pick up the
So
gun.
what really annoys me, the way they portray it, when they portray it in the media, they're saying it's Russia against the West. No, it's not. It's Vladimir Putin against the deep state, Joe Biden. But you know, it's a selection of individuals that are assuming the fucking.
It's the working class against the working class.
Well, no, they set us against each
They
other. It's
all
not
win.
though. It's not though. Really, it's just these. It's these.
Just who
If we put it
died.
into terms of the Sistwikevi, right? So these are men that consider themselves capable of looking after the trust of the wealth of Earth, all of its minerals and gases and fuels and
Yeah.
everything.
That's all
They're-
like lawyers.
they're-
fucking them get.
They're all fighting amongst themselves about who's going to own what and control what.
Right. Well, and like that war specifically, it's like we're so brainwashed in the West. It's like it's been going on for 8 years,
Oh
and
God, yeah, since 2014, since they fucking installed a puppet government.
coup d'état, the elected Russian government overthrew it
Dude,
with the help of
puppet government's
American
been
Congress.
puppet
Elected.
governments, and government's been puppet governments. I can't even say that. It's a tongue twister. But there has been what government wasn't a puppet government?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. Like Boris Johnson. If anybody believes that
It's
Boris
just like
Johnson
old
was
news.
anything other than a puppet, he's a finger
No
puppet.
good news is new. No, that wasn't right.
No
So
news is bad
these
news.
what Bernie's showing right now, these pyramids reminds me of some of the
No
pyramids that
good
we've
news
been
is new,
seeing
Nick.
coming out of Australia that look almost like they're borderline mountains, but they have a very distinct pyramid shape covered like this, like they've been sitting there for a while. So that's really
Yeah.
interesting.
And these are in Indonesia, which are pretty close to Australia, and that he's just measuring the lengths and the angles of the mountain,
Yeah.
the pyramids here, so that it would be a good way to verify the ones in Australia actually being man-made pyramids is measuring their lengths and angles and seeing if they plot out to specific landmarks as well.
That's great.
Like Galapagos Island, tip of Baja, south tip of South America, and Luxor, Egypt. Like, yeah, natural mountains just happen to
Just
grow
happen.
the exact angles and heights and lengths of the mapping out to every other pyramid mountain in the world. It's just how Mother Nature works in the simulation.
I wonder if any of them align with the pyramids here in Guimar, because we've got pyramids here, haven't we, in Tenerife?
Yeah. Well, I guess you should start measuring their lengths and angles. And then we'll plug the numbers into the Ferrum Foundation's equation and see if we come up with something. This is just crazy.
I just think it's such a shame that we're always trying to. Basically, if we had accurate maps, this would mean a whole lot more, I reckon. We wouldn't be asking so many questions if the maps that we were using were actually accurate. But I don't think an accurate map actually exists. Nazca Line's shock discovery. What's that?
Hey, be right back.
Where do they point to? Where do those lines actually point to, though? That's the thing.
Sorry, find in 1 second. It'll probably be lower down here where they plot out to. Oh, Hawaiian. Sorry, he's got it written there. Hawaiian Island, Fiji Island, Portugal, Portuguese Guinea, Reykjavik, Iceland, Mexico City, New Zealand, Portuguese island of Ilhabela. And then, so here's the hummingbird. And let's see, the hummingbird.
Oh my God.
Look at that arrow.
Right? Oh, there's the Japanese one. Oh, I don't know if it has it plotted out. That's strange. Why he doesn't have where it ends. Or maybe it's written down in here. The hummingbird geoglyphs display to Hawaii. Important landmarks. I don't know why it doesn't say. The Faroe Islands. Some of them, I guess. Or maybe it's these. Maybe it's all of these islands. Actually,
it's interesting, isn't it? Why they have to put like the left and the right, red and blue.
Yeah, always
using that red and blue.
Red and blue. The demon colors or the aura colors of UV. The blue range or the red range spectrums.
It's the throat and the throat and the base. Base chakra, your root chakra and your throat chakra.
That's interesting. So here's this Japanese key-like geoglyph, and we've seen a few of these, and they're usually around the star forts, around or atop of them, these keyhole-like ones, and that they also are all of these geoglyph-bearing radials. And there's one in Japan that plots out, that keyhole one plots out to all here, the tips of Australia, Papua New Guinea, Thailand, Vietnam, tip of India, tip of Sri Lanka. Just crazy.
I want to see what's on the land in that line. Like, look, if you look at the line that's cutting across Australia.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Japanese Nazca star, where 3 of them align pretty much identically on the opposite tips of the islands in the middle of nowhere.
It just makes sense that there's going to be more. There's going to be more. There will be more evidence along those lines. I think there's probably buried under all, dirt and water and whatever. There'll be more evidence, more structures or geoglyphs or whatever.
100%. Guaranteed you're right on that, Richie. All right, so that's a good look at that for tonight. Decent introduction to the Faram Foundation, geoglyphs, and
thank you.
A whole new way of verifying ancient sites.
Thank you.
And just tons more evidence that we're being taken for fools.
But we're not.
They're not giving us enough credit. We're not fools. We
have to take the credit. We have to take the credit that we're due daily. That's what we have to do. We have to take the credit that we're due daily. You have to take it personally and go forward as if what they are doing is what it is an illusion. You just need to go forth in your life, knowing you can know that they're doing what they're doing. But if you are caught up in it, then that's exactly what they want. They don't want you to go forward in life. And Burney's doing with his energy stuff. They don't want us to go forward to Ecuador and work in a community and live our lives. And that's what everybody should do. Eventually you realize that these people have been doing it since doing it has been doing it, and you let it go. And you try to forget because they don't exist in reality. They exist in their illusionary matrix. But you just have to detach yourself. and
Yeah, stop.
Find what
Stop
you
thinking about
are.
it. You imagine if Prince Charles woke up. Prince Charles, he's actually technically he's not being crowned. He's not king yet. He's not being crowned until 2023. But you imagine if he woke up in the morning, was laid there waiting for somebody to come and, help him put his trousers on or whatever, and just nobody comes. And he's ringing his bell, like. He gets up, walks out, and just everyone's fucked off.
What do you mean
the
king has to put on his own pants?
King has to go. He goes into the kitchen and just like there's a note on the table, just saying, "Dear Charles, make your own breakfast, you cunt. Fuck off."
And he's like, "I'm not putting on pants today." Woo.
I just think it would be exactly like it is in Blackadder the Third, where it takes Prince George 4 days to get get both legs through one trouser leg. He's hopping around. How do you put these down?
Not those socks.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for a good show, guys. This was really fun. And I'm feeling a little loopy, so I apologize if you see me yawning a lot, but I am listening. I'm just,
What are you eating there?
It is 2:30 in the morning, Sarah. It's allowed. Amber made me a wonderful taco.
Awesome.
With radish and everything. It's delicious.
That's what love is.
Hey,
For me, I always tell everybody the way to my heart. You want to know what the way to my heart? You cook me dinner.
Tacos at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You want to know what love is?
Burgers with chicken of the woods on top.
I'm trying to convince Amber she needs to make a cooking channel. She can sing and cook at the same time.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Hey, tell her she can come to Ecuador and cook, and then we'll set up a fancy room for her that'll be super fancy, of all natural herbs and stuff.
I love that. Charles is an absolute fucking balloon.
And hi from Amber. I'm in my
balloon buffoon. Hey, Amber.
Hey.
What's Doggy's name?
Titu.
This is Titu.
Titu.
Oh,
so gorgeous.
Look at how obsessed with the taco. He's like, taco.
He's like,
what?
Taco.
Taco.
Hey, just hands
Groovy
up,
snacks.
anyone, a dog owner. Name the last time you actually finished the last bite of your own food, having a dog.
Oh, no.
You just don't.
No, you just give it to him. My dog.
Name any time when your dog doesn't just sit there staring at you, making you feel guilty the whole time. Just
Yeah. It's like you just don't ever have the last bite of your food. It's just not a thing.
We did.
Alfie.
We did give Ladybug. Well, we were mushroom hunting. We found some blackberries, and so we tried to give Ladybug a blackberry, and she was like, she really tried for us. I think it was a little too hard. Yeah, she really tried to eat it. She'd take a bite and then kind of spit out.
She's like, too many seeds.
yeah. Not the right kind, Mom. It needs to be mashed up in a biscuit. I love it. I love it.
Butter.
Alfie would just sit there when I took him to work, and I'd be sat there playing away, singing away, and he'd sit there. Whoever was eating, he just sit there staring at them, and they could feel him staring at them, because I'd look and they'd be glancing at, and eventually that somebody would give him a bit of food, but all he'd do is just sit there and stare. It's like absolute.
So
the eyes would eat right through that stare.
That's the cute thing. So Jitterbug, my 18-year-old retired sled dog, so she never begged for food. She was actually never really into food. And then one day it was like something, she flipped a switch, and we're giving her chicken and all this other stuff too. But so all of a sudden she starts begging. What would happen is we'd be sitting eating dinner, and out of the corner of her eye we'd see like this movement. We're like, what is that? We turn. She's silently jumping up in the air with her paws all the way up, just jumping up like this, making no sound. Like, okay, give her a treat. Just please give her one. Oh, I
She
love
earned
it.
it. She
Yeah.
definitely earned it.
Right? Yeah. It's awesome.
Hey, Richie, share
I
my
just
screen.
got a glare of death from Amber. What did I earn? No, dear.
Oh yes. Right. Listen, guys. So this is our website, Magia Sachawasi, our website that Kev's been building.
It's so exciting.
In fact, let's
We are
put it on full screen,
manifesting
man.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at this.
Ecuadorian
Look at
retreat.
this.
It's gonna be like the most ultimate volunteer,
So
sustainable
please come by
healing
the
retreat.
website. It's going to be changing over the next few days. So we'll have a place where you can join up, and we'll have things that you can do that are not necessarily financial contributions, but to help us get the word out. And just by coming and giving traffic to the website and sharing. And we also have now, we have a Facebook page and an Instagram, and I haven't set up the Twitter yet. And it's not much yet, but it'll keep developing.
It takes
And
a village, guys.
just to remind everybody, Kev's going to be in Ecuador at the end of the month. He's flying out at the end of the month to Ecuador to go and
yeah, and we really do need to get fundraising going, because I'm going to get there, and there's going to be things that we're going to need to do to get Richie moving, and Sarah's coming soon. So
Well, we want to film
some-
for you guys. You know, we want to show you our process. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's gonna be
that's
amazing.
the property. That's the forest,
Ugh.
and this is the place that's
So
already developed.
amazing.
There's horses hanging out.
Those are
That's
Richie's
a
horses.
Oh, look at that, hey?
that would be the view in the morning when we're grabbing coffee.
Then I'm gonna run down to the market and grab my poncho for the day.
There's my
Ooh.
horses.
I just felt a little rumbling on the coast. Did you feel that, Kev?
No,
good.
Earthquake?
Not it would if it's an earthquake, it's a tiny. It's more like trembling, but that's a good thing because there's a lot of earthquake activity right now. But trust me, we're on alert.
That's a bit of a weird synchronicity because I just broke wind.
Felt it on the other side of the realm, Richie. My God, that
yeah, that is powerful. Jeez, it's a rumble in the Bronx.
It was just following the flow of energy, man. That's all it was.
You gotta let it flow.
It's
good chaos. It's good chaos. Yep. Just paving the way to Ecuador. Thank you. Oh, thank you guys. This has been great.
Yeah. Is that cool. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the chat room. Take a little dip in.
What's up, guys? Hey, Alex. Hey, Alex. Glad you guys are still here. Just JP.
The light didn't quite work out between Bert and Ernie there, so I can't really. Even if you enlarge the camera, it wouldn't really.
Do you know it's
much.
It's like it's changed. It's like it's got brighter.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it did get brighter. I noticed that.
Lot different than when I set it up. When I set it up, you're able to see the actual reactions going on in that jar behind. But did all of that for apparently no reason, but there was a really good reason. I got to check on my dad, and he's doing better. He's beating the COVID. He's on day 5.
Zinc, man. Tell him to take lots of zinc.
Oh, you best believe.
Yeah, zinc, vitamin D.
Drinking monoatomic zinc. And that's
nice.
Made in that jar between Bert and Ernie is monoatomic zinc there.
Oh, cool. Yes. Okay, you got to teach me how to make that too. Yes.
I was going to try to describe it and illustrate it today, but I guess that'll have to be next week and in the next show.
Yeah, I already was telling everybody I'd like to make this semi-regular, so I'll see you again soon.
100%. Maybe I'll even wake up for this Sunday.
Oh, you always are like wanted there. So please, yes, we can always do it later this Sunday too, because my day might be a little weird, so that actually might work out better. So plan on it being a little later. Sweet.
Well, as long as I don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning again.
Nope.
That's all good.
We won't.
Well, I guess you can see in front of Bert and Ernie there a couple of my organite pieces, the pyramid and the spirals, the circles there. And I'm going to be doing a new stream with Campbell on the Autodidactic Alchemist episode next week with Mike from Faraday Research. And he's got some of this cobalt glass, the blue glass. It's that same blue tile glass that was used in all of the walkways and stuff back in the day in the underground lighting. And apparently this UV blue glass, you're able to see both orgone energy fields as well as aura fields. So that's going to be quite the topic and discussion, and hopefully some experiments as well.
Yes. Send me if you have that picture, unless Cam has it, and Cam, if you're listening, that cool thumbnail picture. I want to get your logo done for Autodidactic Alchemist.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
I love it. I'll look forward to it
by tomorrow.
Awesome.
And this is monoatomic silver zinc at the bottom of this one. I am loading up on my zinc colloidal silver waters because screw getting the woo flu.
You won't get it. You won't get it. Seriously, say I won't get it.
I've been exposed to it about 25 confirmed times now, and not once. So
yep, you won't get it. This is so. The other day, Kevin woke up and he's like, "Oh, I got this thing happening. I felt it yesterday," and I was like, "What did you just say? Don't say that aloud."
It's all in the mind.
We started doing. He's like, "I don't have it," and I just, we did a couple things. I don't even know what I had him do, but anyway. And peppermint. I had him use peppermint.
Not be vaccinated.
Oh, really? Really?
Vaccine control group. You managed to get yourself part of the control group.
Anybody can. It's a UK-based site. My mom signed me up for it, but vaxcontrolgroup.com, and anybody can register to be a part. They will print you off an ID card and everything, because that's science. Only 50% of the population max should ever take something experimental. Usually a lot less. But in these fascist times and days that we live in, get yourself one of these.
What it is times when men that are not doctors have been put in positions of power concerning, strictly medical stuff. Like there's nothing, they claim it's all to do with science. Listen to the science, and yet it's been proven now that there's absolutely nothing scientific behind what they did. Like nothing at all.
Nothing. It was all anti-science.
Which is what?
Yeah, you guys already told you that the CDC was pushing my hospital for me to wear a mask if I didn't get the flu vaccine that started in 2017. This was totally controlled. And the flu vaccine is what is it? The effective rate only ever been on it, according to science, 40%. So not purpose. It's all there you go.
That's confirming I have not taken the vax. I have not, and I am not supposed to. I'm part of the control group. Go. And I am one who hasn't taken it and hasn't caught it. Imagine that.
We are all PBs. Hey, listen, dude, I've been sick once in 5.5 years. So
longer for me.
For me, it's about 5 years since drinking this stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So keep up your immunity.
But on that note, it's 3:33 a.m. in Calgary, Alberta, and Amber desperately wants her bed back because she's got to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
I got to
right,
get
man.
up too, so we need to call it. But thank you so much. This is wonderful.
And thank you for having me
Yes.
on. And we
Love
will
you, brother.
see you again on Sunday, I guess.
Love you, dude.
Yeah.
Bert and Ernie will
See
stay
you
with
Sunday.
you as long as you want to go.
Dance party. Bring out the disco ball, okay?
Wouldn't it be funny if they just suddenly became animated and walked up to the camera, tapped on the glass, like, do you think there's anybody there, Bert?
I think I'm gonna have to do some streams where I'm running live experiments, and I'll like leave it with nothing, like just the experiment going for a couple hours. Then all of a sudden, like from above or behind, you'll start seeing Bert and Ernie creeping around.
You gotta do like Ghostbusters and play that song. I got your love. It keep on getting me higher. You know that song, right? When he plays it inside of the Statue of Liberty.
It don't get
me higher,
higher,
higher. Yeah.
Don't get me higher.
Get that pink
That was a
goo
brilliant song,
dancing. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the pink goo dancing on Birdie's lives.
They
Hey
could
guys,
do a public service announcement about colloidal zinc.
there you go.
And then start dancing it out.
There you go.
And just for the purpose of YouTube, please do remember that we are not medically trained. We are not medically qualified. We're not here to give you medical advice. We're not here to provide a cure-all solution for anything, be that financial or health, spiritual, emotional, or otherwise. Please do your own research. Remember that you are a sovereign human being responsible for all decisions that you make in your life. Take responsibility for yourself. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful, Richie. I'm going to have to edit that and play it in front of all my streams so they never take me down again.
Never again. Never again.
Yeah, German. Anyway.
German.
You're rich alone, man.
Don't do it to me. Oh, do it.
We can still see you. You didn't quite disappear.
I'm alive. I'm alive.
I'm alive. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
And I gotta
go. Listen, ladies and gents, thank you very much. Big shout out to the chat room, to everybody that's been with us and still with us now. And at 3:22, we're going to see you again soon. Not sure. Oh, Sunday. Yeah. We'll see you on Sunday, Pete. Thank you very much.
In this life what do you think you've learned?
Absolutely nothing. Well, I've tried to learn, but I'll calculate not a lot really. I've learned that you must treat people properly, and that you must proceed in a certain way, and you must try and have a vibe of how to sort of enjoy situations. So I've learned just to, don't get miserable or fight the misery with some intelligence. This is like the most difficult area of the whole malarkey, really. It's hard to turn something around when it's going, and it's not something that you can learn by well, as far as I can see, it's something that comes to you with a bit of luck and a bit of instinct, yeah? But therefore, it's not something you can ever bank on. I'm not smart enough to figure out what the hell it is or how it works at all, That's why I treat it like voodoo. I do find I still have a talent to stir up a little bit of confusion, yeah? But I'll do what I can to create as much chaos as I possibly can. But my chaos is always well-natured, or has a positive goal at the end. When I start causing chaos in a situation, it's because the situation really needed to be changed, for example, or something is going to happen that I've thought would be a good idea. And 9 times out of 10, I'm on it, I must say. But hopefully, that hasn't unjinxed. That hasn't unjinxed. That hasn't unjinxed. That hasn't unjinxed. That hasn't unjinxed.